Well, there goes. Daverhood. I feel like Carson when you do that. I feel like I'm coming out to Doc Severinsen and the band. Buddy Rich on the sticks here. Big Spigen, Beck, and Johnny Dobbs hanging up out on the clarinet. And who else?
Wouldn't it be very painful if you were hanging out on the clarinet?
It would hurt. Weird Al on the accordion.
You'd have to be very skinny.
Bob Dylan on harmonica. We got a great band. We have a totally.
Taking the mushrooms we saw this evening, perhaps the second.
Murph Clark on the didgeridoo. Hey, Murph Clark.
Who is that? I love that shirt, David. It's very cool.
Is this shirt wonderful? I wanted something green to wear on the show. I think I probably wore it 2 weeks ago.
Oh, for St. Patrick's Day?
No, that's still 2 weeks away. But
is that why you were going for it? No.
Well, two different reasons. One is this is March 4th, 2023. So even though
3423.
3423, that's a little
backward.
Yeah. It's not spring yet. We're 3 weeks away from spring, but there's a certain kind of feeling, maybe because we did not. I don't want to give what my mom and my family would call a kanina hara, but we did not have a harsh winter here.
You should contextualize that some people had, like I see on the Facebook and people.
In Colorado.
Some people are living in have a lot of snow.
But even if we had stayed in New York, they just got their first snowstorm this week. It wasn't terrible. They got like 2 or 3 inches, I think, in Manhattan.
Snowstorm and not terrible or not.
Well, no, there's a difference between 2 inches of snow and like 8 inches. And you as a woman would certainly know the difference between 2 and 8 inches. You used to too. You hear that? Yeah. We got a new sound machine this week. It does. Isn't this wonderful? A Jew had to invent this. Disappointed sigh. Disappointment at your fingertips. So there's 4 different sounds. So we can add these because some of our sound machines have run down their batteries or just been crushed or something, so they don't work properly. And it was time to add some special noises to the show. So here's disappointed sigh. And here's disappointed sigh woman, which is basically the disappointed sigh guy being kind of gay. It's the same person. Listen. Versus, I'm sorry, that is not a girl. No, sorry.
Do you think it's a real person or it's a computer generated?
No, this is a human that they listen to this person.
Good Lord.
That is not computer generated. We don't have Chat GPT or what they call it. What is it called? Chat GPT able to do this. Yeah, give it 5 years. And then it'll be working on some students' essays while the student is watching TV, and it'll be like,
Good Lord.
then it'll make the thing, and then we have one more. I don't think it doesn't just stop. It kind of tails into like.
It's a sad one. It's like a cry.
It's kind of, what they want to have is a sound machine of Jimmy Carr laughs. Could you imagine if you could touch it and go like, ha, 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 ha?
You could do that. You could just record them and play it.
I would need his permission, and he would have to get like 50% of every.
No, you could just record him from a TV and play it on your show.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like instant Jimmy Carr. I make a joke, and it's like,
That's beautiful.
That would be beautiful, but it's beautiful too. Listen.
Good Lord.
I like the one at the end. It's like, oh, like the sound.
50,000 dead people in a Turkish earthquake.
You can hide them.
It's like, so yeah, this is what Joyce and I do with our spare time and cash. We go to places and buy this.
How does
Yeah.
your on-air sign look?
This is way cool. Look at this. we previewed this last week.
Yeah.
We went to, was it Marshall's or Home Goods or one of
I
those
think
two?
it was Home Goods. The only one we haven't gone to, somebody told me Home Sense is really good too, SE, like sense.
Yeah,
like,
thanks. I
but
don't know where it
know
is.
what that is.
Yeah.
I said, that's a really nice one, but they're all the same parent company. Home Goods.
TJ Maxx,
Yeah,
yeah.
TJ Maxx is, I think, more clothing. Marshall's is a mixture of Home Goods, clothing. And then I think Home Goods and Home Sense are just mostly.
Home Sense has, I think, sex novelties, which is kind of
No,
neat.
it's all like furniture and stuff. I don't
Oh,
know. I don't.
I'm all for, excuse me, I'm
I
all
don't
for
have my
furniture
phone,
and
I
stuff.
can't look.
But yeah, so we were looking for a digital sign for Joyce to have like a motivational
Yeah, like this is
phrase.
my happy place was the one,
Yeah.
but
And she found one, but you don't want to, or you didn't like it that
was
much.
like 80,000. It was like not 80, but it was for what I wanted. It was too much. It was like a third of the size of this sign is huge.
Yeah.
It was a tiny little. I don't know why it cost so much. Maybe because of the saying they knew it was popular.
Right.
But it seemed to me it was overpriced, and I didn't want to.
Well, we got this on sale,
Yeah,
which
this
was
was like
great.
a
So
third of what it was.
yeah. So, but at the same time, I was still like, we go shopping for a sign for her, and we come away with a sign for me.
Yeah, but you know, as I said to you, Marshall's, Home Goods, all those stores, they don't have, it's not like Target where you go and they have every size, every color, every like length of pant or whatever. These are like stores where whatever they have in that day, it's what you see.
Right.
So it's not like you can go back and say, oh, let's get the thing I saw. It's not there.
You know, of course,
It might be on remainder the next week, or it might be sold out, you don't know. And so there's a little bit of difference. That's why it's not like we went for Joyce and we got me. It's that the thing.
It's whatever happens to, if you see the same dishware.
Bought and this new stuff was in, it just happened to be your day.
It's just, we just looked at it, or I didn't even see the thing. And then she was like, look. And I was like,
I've
oh,
never
man.
seen anything so pretty. I mean,
Yeah.
I was looking in the bottom of the sale rack because I saw the word like neon or something, like wall sign. And but it was pushed, I think it was pushed flat against the back of a display, and so I found.
I was holding it there.
People do weird stick
Yeah.
things in stores, they like hide stuff. I don't like that, but I found it and I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, but they knew I was coming in. They knew I had a room. I was doing my show. We haven't really set it up as a podcasting radio studio, but for my needs. But why not, right? Why not?
It's just
We're on the air. Yeah.
the shape of the.
But if we were back in at UNC or at any setting up a real radio studio, this is perfect. This is exactly all you need.
But I think they would make it red because this looks just very pretty.
It's very.
But I
yeah.
think what happens is when they see the red is warning. So when you see the red, it means stop. So people.
Yeah, and they put this on outside the door before you walk into the
Right,
studio. Yeah. Yeah. Or they used to have a red light bulb in certain places, and the bulb was on.
So
You know.
you could just stop on light bulb. That's really smart.
Yeah, yeah. But this is great. So we are on the air live this Saturday morning, March 4th, 2023, with, I swear to you, the 884th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio,
David.
Programmio of the Street.
I can't believe it. I can't believe anything. After it gets past 100, it's mind boggling.
Well, yeah. I mean, granted, I always feel like I'm hot shit for doing this, and then I realize that there are late night hosts, and they do 5 or 4 shows a week, and so you go through.
But
You
when
know,
did you start? What was the day one?
October 6th, 2002. Yeah, it's 21 and a half years at this point. I've been doing this.
That's amazing. I think that's amazing.
Because amazing I'm still alive.
No, it's amazing that, yeah, but you're generative. How do you think about new stuff to talk about? And you had so many guests. How do you think of new guests? Like,
Well, I'm having trouble this month, that's for sure. I'm been kind of, I threw out some lines to reel in some guests this weekend. It didn't work out. So it's going to be an old
do you
fashioned.
think
Yeah,
they'll come next week? Like it'll just be a different week?
it's possible. It's not like I have the time or the energy to be, I want this. I was like, no, somebody doing cabaret this week, is
Yeah.
someone around. If they want to do it, if they're available, great. If not, not.
It's the tree. You can't see it. It's
Well, that's the reason I'm dressing in green, is that even though
Look,
it's not, I can't see him in here.
no, he's right. I think they're eating the berries in the tree. He's
Yeah,
so cute.
there are berries on the tree outside.
And we have the blossoms.
Blossoms on the bushes.
Crocus.
No, oh, crocuses
Yeah.
are flowering in some places, or you're seeing the
We have the
green.
leaves sprouting.
So even though spring isn't until what, March 21st or something,
Everybody tells me that, yes.
I'm
Well,
and
that's
I'm the
spring
person.
break. Spring break is
Right.
on then, yeah.
Well, your spring break is then. My
Yeah.
spring break is a week early. It's weird. My spring break is the last week of winter.
They don't want us to spring break together, honey.
I know. But since it feels on some level like springtime, because it's been mostly weirdly warm in the days, and the grass is still pretty gray, but trees are starting to happen.
It's beautiful.
There was a day, twice this week I saw a bunny in the yard, bunny rabbit, getting close to Easterish time. Well, that's April,
If we
but
put up the bird seed, we'll see the squirrels too.
we
and the
bought a
birds.
bird feeder again, ladies and gentlemen. If you were with us a month or two ago,
I think we leave the broken one for the squirrels and maybe I'll keep them away from the good one for
that'd
the
be nice.
birds.
Yeah, because we had, we loved watching those little baby birds go to the bird feeder that we had out in the yard. It wasn't even our bird feeder when we bought the house. One of the reasons we paid so much for the house is that we had a really nice bird feeder. And so all these birds are flocking to it. It's great. And even if there's only 2 or 3 birds hanging on it at a time, they're flying into it, knocking seeds down, and then other birds are on the ground going, picking up the seeds that fell.
Yes, yeah.
It's wonderful. And then suddenly we're seeing like a lot of squirrels around too. And it
No.
never occurred to me squirrels would eat birdseed.
No,
Never
we
know
saw
it.
the one shoot through the plastic.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
his little fat furry squirrel tushy was in there. I saw him upside down.
Because at first it was funny. At first we saw squirrels trying to get onto the feeder and into lift the lid, get the lid, do this, do that. And then, at a certain point, it's like, oh, they're somehow able to lift the lid off, get their faces in and be vertically perpendicular into the bird feeder. I'm like, all right, now it's a pain in the ass. Now they're keeping the birds away. It was fine when they were scampering around, getting their own seeds, but now, and then we finally go over to the feeder itself and we realize they chewed through the plastic and destroyed the feeder. Which is like, and this beautiful feeder that probably been there for 15 years. Suddenly the squirrels.
Well, now we got squirrel, at least it's got a cage, so they can't shoot through. They'll have to chew through the cage.
Yeah, I don't know. But so we bit the bullet. We found another bird feeder that is presumably squirrel-ish. No feeder is completely
No,
squirrel-proof,
nothing.
but
They give you that. They say squirrel proof, but then they give you all these disclaimers. It's like, yeah.
and I still don't understand
Mhm.
my dichotomy with rodents. So I'll see these squirrels, and it kind of makes me remember, like, what was your uncle or your grandfather or somebody in your family who shot at marmots?
No, that was a student's grandfather.
A student's grandfather
Yeah.
who would see, which I find adorable, prairie dogs
In the country.
in Colorado, right?
He was a farmer, yeah.
Yeah. So prairie dogs on a farm are horrible. They destroy
No, they
the.
actually cripple the
Earth.
animals because if a cow or horse,
Mhm.
if a cow or horse walks in that hole, they could break a leg and then I think it's bad. It's bad.
It's
demise.
terrible. If you have a horse and it steps in a marmot hole, you might have to shoot the friggin' horse. It's horrible. So here I am seeing these little
Yeah,
critters
but
as
did you ever
adorable.
think that 2 people who were born in Brooklyn would know so much
About
about
prairie
country
dogs, right? But, and so I understand it, but it was still not something that I could really, like, how can you kill or be annoyed at these creatures? And growing up in New York, growing up in Brooklyn, squirrels are fine. You see squirrels everywhere. It was nice to see some level of wildlife, because if you're in, Ocean Parkway in Brooklyn, if you're even in exurban Long Island, you don't see deer. You don't see, the house next door doesn't have a horse or cows or chickens or so.
Maybe
You
in the
just don't see it.
Hamptons, maybe in the Hamptons they do.
Yeah, if you go further out on the island, you see deer. You still do. You see, when we first moved, when my mom and dad first moved to Long Island, in the yard, we would see the occasional frog, the occasional turtle. Back in, you don't see that anymore where they are. But
They're in Miami.
But so I see on the lawn now squirrels, and around some goddamn squirrels. Goddamn squirrels, destroy our bird feeder, keep the birds away. We want to see birds, not squirrels. But then I look and I see on the lawn a bunny rabbit. And I'm like, bunny, bunny. And it's like a bunny is a squirrel with a different tail.
I don't
They're
know.
essentially the same
I
freaking
think if you
creature.
ask a biologist, they would beg to differ.
Yeah, all right. But aren't they both rodents? I do believe they are. Like, bunny, squirrel, shorten the tail, change the eyes just on the face just a little bit. You've got the same animal.
I don't know the name.
And meanwhile, it's like, squirrels, seen them all my life. Squirrels, and they're running around and they cause disease. They do this and they get the garbage.
Squirrels. Squirrels.
That's all I really want is squirrels. And meanwhile, I see a bunny rabbit. I'm like, springtime, cute 1-2 pet. Don't want to pet it, but squirrel bunnies. And it's this weird. I guess if the bunnies had destroyed the bird feeder, or if I'd grown up seeing bunnies everywhere, it wouldn't be me. It was just like, oh, rabbit. Gosh darn, rabbits always chasing the birds away, and let's get some powder, shoot at the bunnies on the lawn, which So I get it now, but I still don't get it. It's this reaction. Why do we see a praying mantis and go, oh yay, oh happy good creature?
Why did we domesticate dogs, but we're afraid of wolves, right? I mean, it's like, or we don't like we're afraid of a bobcat, but we have kitty cats, right? So
exactly.
Or our children. I had a hamster. I loved my hamster.
Nibbles, yeah.
Nibbles, Mr. Nibble. He was just Nibbles then, but now maybe Mr. Nibbles of blessed.
A blessed memory, yeah. Rabbi Nibolovsky. No, but or even if I see a spider and it's not in the bedroom or crawling on the bed or something, but it's in the bathroom, I'm like, ooh, spider.
Yeah, but if you see a tarantula.
Right. Yes.
I mean,
yes.
that used to scare me when I was a Girl Scout, or we'd go in like country in Pennsylvania that, like they're snakes, right? But some snakes are just.
Yeah, if I see a snake, I'm like,
but some are just scary. Like some are not going to bite you, and then some of them don't have like the cobra thing, but they will also bite you.
Yeah, well, they're scary or poisonous or whatever. Yeah.
What threw me was like watching the mushroom show. Like I like mushrooms, but like how come some mushrooms are innocuous and some of them, if you eat, they're like it'll shut your organs down. So like.
And your pianos too.
And I mean, I know it's silly, but I think like their nature, but it could be.
Yeah, but even the things that we know are harmless. What I'm saying is, like I see a spider, I know it's harmless to me. It's actually
Some
good
people
against spider
have
bite.
phobia. They go into shock of it.
But if you were to see, and thank goodness, knock wood, we don't seem to have. But if you were to see a cockroach, what's more disgusting than being in your town? I had an apartment in New York with a friend of mine, and you turn on the lights and 4 cockroaches would scatter, and it's like they're harmless. I mean, they're not great for asthma people, but
yes, that's true.
You see cockroaches, it's like if a cockroach crawls on you, it's not going to bite. It's not going to do, and yet, because they don't.
How do you know that?
How do you know cockroaches don't bite?
You don't know that.
Really? Spiders could bite, actually.
Why don't you get an expert on like from the mushroom show,
The
the
animal.
actual world, and get someone to talk about like. You should get somebody who likes like animals, why we fear some and others, why we label some.
I think there is. Freud probably. I wouldn't be surprised if Freud had lived longer. He would have written the book.
By Strauss, it's like remember the Raw the Cooked? Like he did the book about.
I can read it. Yeah.
He did the book about like, I remember Raw Cooked and whatever. It was like, how come some forms of things are sacred and some are profane and some are like purdah, like you avoid. He had the whole thing of why we have why certain forms of something are acceptable.
Yes.
Right. Like cooked meat's acceptable. Like I remember all these different. Yeah, get someone on who could talk about that.
Because it is really interesting. It is a fascinating kind of certain colors of food.
Amanda told me you never eat anything that's like antifreeze color because nothing in nature is that blue. Yeah. So certain things, unless you get a artificial ice.
Well, if I were going to eat an M&M, I'm perfectly fine eating a blue or a green M&M, and it tastes the same as even though I prefer the light brown M&Ms. Absolutely, there's no legitimate mental reason or a taste reason or manufacturing reason that a light brown M&M is any different from a red M&M or a green M or whatever colors they have or used to have. I remember for Halloween a decade ago, that black and white M&M. I mean, fine, they're all the freaking same. They're all literally not just the same inside, but if you suck on them, if you chew on them, it's the same candy, no matter what color they are. You give 12 M&Ms to a blind person, they're not going to go, no, I don't like the yellow ones. No, they don't know. It's exactly the same thing, right? Unlike say Skittles or something like that. I mean Skittles. So, but for me, the brown M&M, they were sacred to. I would save them. I would open up a packet of M&Ms. I pour them out, and then I would yellow, blue, and I save the dark brown ones for second to last, the penultimate dark brown M&Ms, the poop colored ones, and then the baby poop colored ones, the light brown. I would say, and they were. Why they would do this is beyond me, but it wasn't even an even balance of them. I don't know what mathematicians were working at the M&M Mars factory, but you would get like 2 or 3 of one color, 2 color, 1 of this one, and then like 8 dark brown M&Ms and 2 barely, 1 or 2 of the light brown. I'm like, what the hell? Is it easier for them to make the dark color coating so they make more of them? Is it cheaper somehow? Well, if it's cheaper to just make the dark color coating, why do you even bother making all the other colors anyway? What was the science? I would love Claude Levi-Strauss to go into the idea of what was the factoring in of the emotional connection that people have to M&Ms, where they're like, if we put too many yellow M&Ms in the bag, people have to wear sunglasses to eat them. It's like, what? No. Why not just have, you have a bag of M&Ms, you have, let's say, 30 M&Ms of 10 different colors, 3. No, they don't do this like that. This obsesses me. This is why I have been doing this program. Dave's gone by for 21.5 years. I'm Dave Lefkowitz, by the way. We've been talking also with my darling and adorable wife, Joyce. And as I'm saying, this is going to be one of the old-fashioned sort of episodes of the show. Don't have a guest. We're not even doing the quiz. I just didn't have it in me this week to write up some crazy questions and to bring up the book. Even though I love doing it, even though that's so much fun, sometimes you just need something a little different. Sometimes you need a break. So what is going to be on this episode of the show is me yammering. We will have Greeley Crimes and Old Times. We will have a Colorado, what?
I'm gonna elliptical it a little bit.
We'll have a Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Maybe you can elliptical when our we do have one special guest. We do have one very particular.
What time is he going on?
Well, do you want to do Greeley Crimes and Old Times first? Or do you want to do that first?
Whatever you want to, I'll just.
Let's get through Greeley Crimes. And then after that, yes, because Monday is Purim, ladies and gentlemen, or tomorrow into Monday, or Monday to Tuesday, is the happy Jewish holiday of Purim. Oh, I even have, where is it? There it is. The holiday of Purim, in honor of that, Rabbi Sol Solomon will be here with a segment that we do every once in a while called Rabbi Sol Reads the Papers. And so there are still, this is going back to, the problem, he always knew, but he didn't realize that you read English in the opposite direction from Hebrew.
Oh.
So he was learning everything backward, his whole mathematical system. Yeah. When he thinks about world history, it's actually going backward in time. It's very messed up. So Rabbi Sol will be here with Rabbi Sol Reads the Papers just in time for the happy holiday of Purim. So yeah, that's going to be probably, we're not going to go 3 hours today, even, because I've got 20 million papers to grade. My wife has a draft of a book that I'm looking over and reading too, and it's just like, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm going to do my show just to talk about some stuff, to have Greeley Crimes and Old Times, to have the Rabbi in, to do a Colorado Limerick. That's right. We're going to, where is our Colorado Limerick? Norrie, Colorado, Norrie. We'll have a horrible rose-filled poem about Norrie, Colorado a little later in the show. So, but let's talk still a little bit more first.
Okay.
Crimes
and all. Oh, and you want to talk about the Ketchup Man?
Right. Let's start with the Ketchup Man.
Ketchups.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk about.
What?
You had something else there. The German verbs.
The German verbs, and also we bought another thing this week, an exciting food item thing that we'll get. Yeah, we're saving that. So,
But we don't have.
well, it's in the fridge. What we create. So, but here, let's start with the ketchup man. They found him. This has been a continuing saga in the world and on this show. Forget, the earthquakes and the Donald Trump trial and the whatever else is happening in the universe. The most important thing was that a few weeks ago, a man named Elvis Francois from Trinidad was on a boat. He was fixing a boat.
Is his real name Elvis or is that a
I
nickname?
think I don't know. I don't know. Is it Elvis Francois? That's the name they give him.
French Elvis.
And he was all shook up because his boat started drifting, the boat he was helping repair or whatever. And it drifted, and suddenly he was out to sea on this boat for 3 weeks. And all they had on the boat was like some bouillon cubes,
Some spicy
water.
thing,
He
yeah.
grabbed seaweed out of it. So he's eating seaweed too, it turns out. I didn't realize that. Because I thought if you drink seawater,
I thought it would make you.
I don't know if he could boil it, but
Maybe he used the bouillon to sanitize the seaweed.
yeah, because if you think about it, Japanese people, they make sushi with seaweed.
Yeah, but
So on some
probably
level,
have to dry it out or
yeah,
something.
maybe that's what he did. Maybe he put the seaweed out in the sun and he would just eat seaweed, which is a healthy, good thing, but you can't live on, well, he did. He lived
Yeah.
for 3 weeks on this boat, and the main thing he lived off was a bottle, not kidding you, a bottle of ketchup, right? Presumably Heinz ketchup,
Yeah.
and not our beloved Sir Kensington or Hunt's or any generic brand. So he lived off this ketchup, like a spoonful a day or something, like 2 spoons a day, made soup out of it, whatever the hell he did, and it saved his life until, he had basically given up. After about 2 weeks, he's
He
just
was so skinny.
yeah, well, yeah, he was gonna die. 2 or 3 more days of this, he was starving very slow. He was keeping himself just enough alive day after day after
He
day.
didn't do a lot of work, energy, so he kept his energy output low.
And then something spotted him like from the air, like a helicopter or something, and signaled to a ship. And really just in time, the ship picked him up and saved him. And it became this incredible story. This man who lived on a boat and survived on ketchup, essentially, for 3 whole weeks. And then he disappeared. He went back to his life, went back to his village, went back to his nothingness. And Heinz, of course, wanted to find the guy. Because is there a better spokesperson?
Yes.
Forget about the taste of ketchup. Forget about it's just like the very fact that you can live on ketchup. 1 bottle for all that time, right? It'd be great if he had like 20 bottles. That would have been a story too. But 1 bottle of ketchup. So Heinz wanted to find this guy and make him and because it's great publicity.
I think they were going to give him something.
They wanted to give him a new boat. They wanted to say, hey, we'll do a photo op, we'll find you, you'll be nice to us, we'll be very nice to you. They found him. I read the story. They found him, and this poor son of a bitch, this guy, he's living in Trinidad, and he is living in the part of his house that did not burn down when he had a fire there a year ago.
Poor man.
And ironically,
I am a man of constant sorrow. That's
he must have been sitting on that boat and saying, if only I had all this fucking water a year ago.
saying, again, now, fire, water.
He's like Job. What is it?
Yeah.
Earth, right? It's probably buried alive for 3 weeks, actually, somewhere. So eventually they track him down. They found him again. And he's like, yeah, great. Please, Heinz, help me out. I got nothing. I was living on the boat because I got no house.
They could make him a houseboat.
Yeah, exactly. Heinz has the money.
No kidding. Make a houseboat.
I thought they just give him like a lifetime supply of ketchup, which would be, fine and cheap for them. But like, give the guy it's crap high. Teresa Heinz Carey could gift the guy like $100,000 house in Trinidad with a dinghy next to
A
it.
small boat. Ask him what he prefers. Does he want a boat or does he want money toward that?
Yeah.
Like Undercover Boss gives people homes.
Yes.
So, that's like a.
I would like both, please. And a job. Give me a job in the factory. Yeah.
Why is he South Asian and you're
How do you do a Trinidad?
He's Dominican,
accent?
he's
Oh,
Dominican.
was it Dominican?
He's Dominican, but
Oh.
I know he's Dominican, but he was living somewhere else.
Trinidad, yeah.
Yeah,
So I can't, can you do a Dominican accent?
Dominicans are, they would speak do Spanglish.
You do Spanish, I don't do Spanish. And then when I do Spanish, you say it sounds racist, so I can't
Do it, do your Spanish.
So give me a boat. No, I'm speaking Gonzalez right there. It's like, yo quiero when
I would
boat
think that
en la
the
casa.
like would be afraid to even talk with all of the, like to be, maybe he's afraid if they give him something, he'll blow up. I mean, he doesn't have a good history with it.
Yeah,
He lost his house, he lost his boat, like he's,
he's not
maybe
good
they
luck
should give
charm.
him like healthcare and maybe some psychotherapy.
Yeah, well, actually, what he really needs, he's got 7 lives left.
Yeah.
If this cat has 7 lives left. But yay for Elvis Francois, and I'm assuming Heinz will do all right by him. May I give him everything he needs and desires, but certainly, give him a nice little
I
something.
hope he gets something good.
But honestly, the best thing to get him is a job, right? A decent job, so that he's not eking out a living, because he had no job, no home, and he lost his boat, and he almost died. It's like, dang.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't sort of jump into the ocean at some point and say, like tie the ketchup to his legs to weigh him down, and he's go,
Well, he had a will to live. The survival instinct was very strong.
yeah. So there was that wonderful story, happy story for sure, and then there's there's a brand new disease. It's not new. There's a brand new disease, ladies and gentlemen, that's out there that the CDC is warning us about. Because the CDC got it so right with COVID, but apparently like 40,000 people a year are coming down now with something called shigella. You remember shigella? And it's not that sexy cook on that TV show from Italy. No, this is shigella, which is basically, and thank goodness it's not in some another COVID in the sense of it being
Airborne.
deadly. Well, it's not deadly.
And it's not airborne, because airborne is the worst.
This is born in a different way. Now you explain this to me, because the people most likely to get this are gay men, gay and bisexual men having relations, because it's poop borne. And it's it's anally transmitted.
It's probably in the intestine. It's probably a bacteria or virus.
It is a bacteria, it's not a virus, a bacteria.
So it's in the intestine. So anytime, or they even said hand washing, like a lot of E. coli infections are like somebody in a restaurant goes to the bathroom, they
wipe and
they don't wash their hands, then they cook and it goes on the, So I think it's just hygienic practices when you're around.
Well, or gay guys doing But here's the weird thing. Here's the thing. The most susceptible, right, are gay men, homeless people, all right, homeless
Hand washing, yeah.
and children under 5.
You know why?
No, how do they get into the same demographic?
Children under 5, they have fecophilia. They probably put their hands in their diapers when they don't, or when you potty train. I helped a friend potty train her child.
Yeah.
And the child never washed her hands.
Oh.
And I was like, wash your hands. Children have to wash their hands after they.
So if they don't, but can you infect the thing is, how do you infect someone? Because it's your own poop. You're not going to get infected.
You touch somebody else's hand.
Right, but a child.
They put it in their mouth.
But that would mean that the child wouldn't be susceptible. The parents would be susceptible. They would be the ones getting the disease. A child would not give itself a disease by licking its own hands. It could
also be that if maybe a parent doesn't wash their hands, and then
it goes back to
or let's say that you're a parent, you're preparing food for the kid,
and then
and also
the parent wipes the diaper, does the food, gives it to,
or even the parent has it themselves and they just give it in food. But probably the children don't have a strong enough immune system to handle it, maybe. So if they're exposed, they can't fight the bacteria.
I don't know. And again, thank goodness this is not a deadly thing. It's just it's diarrhea. It's stomach.
It's
Oh, is it? Yeah. So get under your shigella umbrella, which by the way is a brown umbrella. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, so I don't know what we're gonna have to do now, like wear gloves in bathrooms, or what
You know what it is,
the
your
great,
favorite thing, soap.
well, yeah,
Just use soap, wash your hands with hot water and soap.
or gay men, if you're licking someone's ass. I don't know, just put a washcloth over it, this is, a dental dam, or I don't know what you might put in there, a funnel. Just lick the funnel, so you're not getting the whatever.
Thank God you don't work for the CDC.
Thank God I don't work. Although it's amazing that like the newspapers aren't apologizing to the American public about COVID, about this whole thing of like, oh no, it couldn't have come out of a Chinese lab. That's racist.
What
And
happened?
then, well, for 2 years,
Yeah.
the American, NPRs and the Yahoo Newses and the AOLs and the probably Den News and MSNBC and CNN and all that were saying, and Facebook was censoring people. This is the only really horrible part. Facebook, they were censoring people who were putting out the idea that COVID came from China and that it was a lab leak, a laboratory leak.
That it was an intentional,
Either intentional or a mistake. But just the idea, because everybody was so afraid that it would cause the way 9/11 caused people to be racist against Muslims.
Don't want unsubstantiated. I mean, it's this joke of social media trying to filter out fake news and misinformation.
Yeah.
So
But the problem is, the fake news turned out to be real.
what happened?
3 years later,
What happened? Tell me.
this was the week, and we were told this by people we knew a few months ago, who were telling us, but now it's official. It's the news
What
that
happened?
COVID came from a lab in Wuhan.
What happened? Yeah.
I'm not sure of all the details of this, but it was either an accident, probably accidental, but this was a thing that came
Did you know
out of
that-
China. It wasn't a bat.
No, but what happened was they said that there were people who worked in that laboratory that went into the hospital early on and had like a unique cluster of symptoms that they reported that's been reported.
It's been, but everything was not, God forbid, you should mention it because, everyone was afraid, oh my gosh, if we blame the Chinese, then Chinese people are gonna get beaten up. And they were anyway. Chinese, nobody will patronize Chinese restaurants. You can remember in the first, when COVID first happened in America in March, April, and May, Chinese places were closed and they were hurting for business.
Really?
You couldn't get it. Remember, we went for a Chinese restaurant to reopen, and they were one of the first to reopen.
Oh, yes.
But China was like, no one's walking into a Chinese restaurant, even though, God forbid we should say it's what Trump called it, the Wuhan flu. It really was. But he was terrible and racist, and he was terrible and racist, but he called it for what it was. It was the Wuhan flu coming out of a Chinese lab. And he was in a position to know as much as anybody else, up to and including Dr. Fauci. He was the president of the United States. So he was hearing things that NPR wasn't, And Fauci could say all he wanted. Oh, it didn't necessarily come from here. And no, we shouldn't say that. And it could have been airborne. It could have been on this. I was like, no. And we're going to see many more of these from labs all over the world of things that just kind of, people make a mistake. They go home for the weekend and they have something on the bottom of their shoe, or they leave a slide out accidentally, and the slide or glass in a thing breaks and it goes into the air and it goes to the air conditioning duct and the air.
Usually they have a lot of labs. So this, like most labs have a lot of safety protocols. So if something does break or whatever, it's localized.
Well, Chernobyl had wonderful safety protocols until.
Yeah. I mean, let me get my phone.
I'm reading about that toxic spill of the train. I'm sure the train had, 2 weeks ago was it Ohio, I think? I'm sure when they were putting the toxic chemicals away in the non-smoking car of the Amtrak train that the chemicals were on, they were very, very, very careful, and they had insulation and they had very nice walls around the thing, and then the train goes boom and it explodes, and it's saying, half the people in Ohio are going to die of cancer in 10 years. I mean, I'm exaggerating a bit, but there's only so safe you can be. There's only so safe they can make a car if it's going 80 miles an hour and goes off an embankment. There's only,
Interesting that the airbags save lives, But the airbags, like they'll protect your head from being
They'll
crushed.
break your rib.
But yeah, I mean, so it's like always like, it's not, what was I looking up?
You were looking up the COVID Wuhan flu. Because, you know,
Recent news about the origins of COVID.
but what made me mad, of course, is the censorship, is the idea that you couldn't even think about it or write about it openly because Facebook would censor your post because it was promoting racist ideology or it was fake news. There's no proof of this. You can't. It's funny. How is it in America that you're not allowed to have a theory which could then be disproven 10 years or 5 years or 2 years down the line? How are you suddenly not allowed to have a theory about something and discuss it openly?
When should I?
It was like a few days, this past week or a week and a half ago. Do like COVID Chinese lab. And again, I think major media should apologize to everyone. Again, not for doing other theories.
Is this one 12 hours? So World Health Organization calls on US to share information on COVID-19
Yeah,
after it says toxic debate over lab. So they're still debating what it says.
yeah. I mean, okay. Do we have the smoking gun?
Like
Probably not.
COVID lab leak wasn't a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Should I look at?
Which is what major media branded it as.
Here, today it says FBI director says COVID pandemic likely caused by Chinese lab leak.
That was it. It was the director of the FBI. I don't know how the FBI is involved as opposed to like.
It's a
The
video,
CDC.
honey, I can't play it.
Oh no, it's all right. Probably couldn't play it anyway because it'd be copyright. But
I got Wall Street Journal if it doesn't firewall me.
yeah.
It says, okay, most likely arose from a laboratory link.
So I hope the lesson is learned from now on.
FBI.
Now that Elon Musk owns Twitter, for exactly this kind of reason. Because me, you know, as Joyce knows, I am generally fairly left liberal on most things. And if you're fairly left liberal, you should be on the side of freedom of the press. You should be mostly on the side of the ACLU. So if the Proud Boys fucking want to march, you know, or the neo-Nazis want to march, you kind of got to allow them to march, and you got to allow the other people across the street to scream at them and curse at them. And you don't let them get together because then that promotes violence. But if you keep them far enough apart, these can scream their idiocy, they can scream their hatred, and yay, that's America. Fine. Great. And you can get one people on one side screaming, the thing came from China. Let's talk about it. Let's have the real story from the Chinese government. We never get the real story from the Chinese government. Let's get the real story from our FBI and CIA. And other people can be far left wing and say, no, how can you even still believe it? It could have come from someone touching or being bitten by or eating a bat, or there's all these other theories. They haven't really proved it. Scream, scream, yell, yell, yell. And someone come up with a third theory that it comes from, some Congolese volleyball team came to America. And while they were here, one of them had a terrible accident, fell on a spike, his head opened up, his blood went everywhere, and he had some sort of. It's a theory. It's a theory. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm allowed to frickin' say it. I should be allowed to post it. And
understand, like,
unless you're directly causing violence.
or who are the fact checkers? That's
Right?
I'm curious.
It's not even about the fact checkers. It's about what is released by the government and our government agencies like the CDC and the NIH and the FBI and the CIA, which have never been open truly about anything. It's about what did Fauci know 2.5 years ago and what was he saying versus, what people just in general are allowed to think and speak and post and write about without being censored, without somebody higher up in a left or right wing organization saying, how dare you even put this out there, because this could cause misinformation and violence and people not getting vaccinated and so forth. It's like, you know what? Words are words. Every time you censor, for whatever reason, 99% of the time,
Yeah.
it's not going to be for the motives might be good, but the end result is not good. If you're in a library, in a school, and you've got parents saying, I don't want these books about gay things, and they're specific and graphic about sexual things and getting girl menstruation and lesbians, and I don't want this in a school where my 9-year-old is going. Thanks for this book. Take it off the shelves. Take it. It's good motivation. It's not good. But I don't want Facebook or Twitter saying, well, we feel that posting these things is going to have negative racist implications against the Chinese people. So therefore, we're not allowing it. When we got bots looking for keywords of COVID, Wuhan, flu, Trump, and it's like, nope. And then, absolutely, they owe Americans a real apology. I believe that very thoroughly.
What's the ketchup guy's name?
Elvis Francois. So yeah, see what else is happening with him. Does he, God forbid, does he have like cancer or something now?
Elvis Francois is a sailor surgeon.
Yeah. And it would be weird if he didn't get skin cancer after being on a boat for 3 weeks.
It just says in Ohio wants to lie on a boat.
Well, that's an old one. They found him. They found the guy. Anyway, you're watching the Dave's Gone By Facebookio podcast.
After tracking down the ketchup boat guy.
The ketchup boat guy, yeah.
It's just like, I'm gonna give him a vote.
No, good. All right. Yay. Remember when they had that homeless guy?
It says we were able to connect with him and discuss the best way to help and support him and his family. So maybe that's good.
Yeah. If he gets a boat that he can really go fish trawling on, feed himself.
If he likes that, or maybe a houseboat. A lot of people live on boats.
Yeah, if that's his thing, but he had a house. He may not really want to live on, especially after living for 3 weeks on a boat with no food. No, I want the fucking townhouse. I would sooner live in someone's garage than live on a boat again.
Like you can make a version of a tiny home.
Yeah.
That's really huge.
Yeah. And also, I mean, if the man is living, which is, I'm saying he was found in Trinidad. You're saying he was what? He was Haitian or no?
No, he was Dominican.
Dominican. So you can probably get him a house in the Dominican Republic for like $60,000, which Hines has.
Oh, come on.
And just, and throw a little boat in there with it. And so and get him a job. Get him a day job so they can support the house, support the boat, fish on the weekends for extra money, and for to have fish on the weekends if he wants to eat that, and then he has a relatively stable life until his next nightmare. They get him a little house, but he happens to be on an earthquake fault line, and he wakes up one morning, he's like, oh no, not why God, why?
That's like not good.
You always figure like someone like that has a next door neighbor that nothing bad has ever happened to. So there's this imbalance in fate, in God, in religion, where like God will just send misery down on certain people for their whole, someone lives till 25 and commits suicide because their whole life is horrible. And then there's someone else who just kind of breezes through. And I figure, shouldn't there be like a portion that rotten things happen to one person, then a lot of good things, and then another person rotten things, but a lot of good things, instead of like, child dies of cancer at 5, they get this, they get that, the house burns down, and this person over here, oh, hey, they just won, $500,000 in the lottery.
Yeah.
And they've got 2 wonderful children and everything's gone great. But anyway, so that's Elvis Francois, that's shigella.
Crazy, yeah.
We talked about that. Want to give I don't know what you call it, a shout out, a memorial shout out to our late friend of the Daverhood. We lost one this week. The French actress, chanteuse, cabaret singer, Yvonne Constant.
Oh no, what happened? She passed?
She passed. As a matter of fact, I had it wrong. This was the thing I posted from various sources, because she used to say that she was born in 1935.
Okay.
So she was 87 years old.
Yeah.
But then her son messaged me and said, no, Wikipedia got it right. Everybody else has it wrong. His mother used to tell people she was born in 1935. She was actually born in 1930.
Wow.
So she was 92. And she was in, I think, Irma La Douce, the movie. She was in a few movies for Can.
Did you update your post on Facebook?
Well, I did one for her. I have her interview or her chat with Rabbi Saul Solomon from about not quite a decade ago. She was delightful. If you ever get to hear, just go on Facebook after the show's over, and you can hear her interview with Rabbi Saul on Dave's Gone By from years back. She's very feisty, very fun, very playful, nice lady, Yvonne Constant, and she was still doing cabaret for a few years after we talked with her, and then she hit her early 90s and slowed down a lot. So big farewell to her, to our friend of the Daverhood. Always hate losing people who were in on Dave's Gone By. What else? Why don't we save for later in the broadcast our exciting adventure, our great excitement and delight this week, because this week was so up and down. We had so many scares and it started off badly, and then suddenly like good things happen. And you had an article published this week, so hooray, hooray, hooray! Do you want to talk about that, or what it's about? Or you're gonna?
I got a tweet on it.
Yay!
Oh, I got a tweet on it. I have.
Oh, you have to tweet. Yeah, tweet. You got an article published. Yeah. I pretty good week teaching. So there are good things, and then a really amazing thing happened, right? Not really.
It was interesting, right?
It was fun. It was great.
Well, I think the warning is tell people when you watch a video on when you watch a video about something, it's time elapsed. That's the
Yeah. Yes. All right. So but let's save that. Let's do that for towards the end of the show, because we still have some more shows to do. We've got Greeley Crimes and Old Times. We have our Colorado Limerick of Damned, and we have Rabbi Saul Solomon coming in to
you want to do that
I
next?
thought I forgot to hit the record button, but I didn't. It's
Oh,
going.
I feel that. Like one time I was doing an interview and I'm like, because usually the voice says recording starting now or something, right?
And what's also nice is that when we do these, and you should know this, folks, that all the shows are basically automatically saved on Facebook, no matter what. I record them separately on my machine here, but even if oh heavens no, I forgot to hit record. Facebook kind of
does it?
5 minutes after the show's over, you can go watch the show on Facebook. Whenever I can download it from there too. And actually, since we've been doing the program on Facebook for the past 4 or 5 years as a video and audio program, you can keep scrolling down on Facebook and watch our old shows there. I would prefer if you watch them on davesgoneby.com. davesgoneby.com, our official website of the show, is free. Don't have to pay anything. And we have virtually every program that we've ever done, going all the way back, as we said, to 20 and a half years ago. We have, which means there are about 880, holy crap, episodes of this show. The first 15 years are audio only. We were a radio show or an audio podcast. Started doing these as video. It's still really a radio show, but but it's all there. And we even have a separate archive for when we do have guests and famous people on the program, and you don't want to wade through the whole show to hear their part. We got a separate archive just of the guests. It's all at davesgoneby.com. Plus, we put all our archives at archive.org, which is this nonprofit website of art, entertainment, literature, stuff from the 20th, 19th, 18th, 15th century, whatever they can get their hands on in public domain of art and culture, old TV shows, old radio shows. It's just this massive not-for-profit archive at archive.org, and we're very proud to have our own channel there. It's all the same stuff you'll find at davesgoneby.com. It's just great that we have this other platform. And then we have a YouTube channel, Dave's Gone By. Our audio archives are available at castbox.fm. So if you are into podcasts, you don't want to sit and watch the show, you can just take it wherever you go audio-wise and listen to the program, downloading it onto your, how do people even, it's just on the phone now. It's not, nobody has tunes or what iPods anymore. What do people do?
People just stream stuff, like they
Yeah.
get a link and they stream. Like I see podcasts that people do, and it's like a website where they link their podcasts. I've seen that, so you do that.
Right. That's what Castbox.fm does. It's a place for the podcast.
Or even your personal website. Oh, look, the clouds are opening with their sky.
Yeah, it's turning into a very nice day.
Today, the little icon on my phone, like it gives me the weather.
Uh-huh.
I want to show you. It's so cute. Look, it says, I have nothing personal in there. It's just little wind. And then this is like sun and clouds.
clever.
It's just like wind. Here you can
Yeah.
see.
Yeah,
You
there's nothing you
can
should
see it. Yeah.
Well, let's hold it up.
See
Let's
the
see. Yeah.
wind? It's like
Oh, well.
you see? it's
Oh,
like-
yeah, well, you can see it's certain that bright yellow sun.
No, but look at the one for today. It's gusts of wind.
There we go. It's a little hard
I'll
to.
click on it. Let's see if it'll make.
Oh, yeah, you make the day.
I don't know if it'll work if I do that. Let's see.
Who's peeking out from under her cell phone? We're gonna see it's windy.
Oh, so cute.
Oh, please, I broke wind last night.
Oh, please, David.
Ah.
You did something really bad. Yes.
Yeah, those are the best when you're not expecting, well, you kind of have to break wind. And it's going to happen, and sometimes gas barely smells, and sometimes it smells kind of bad. But when you've been holding it, and you do that first one, and I had it was the night before actually. I had Chinese food,
duck. Oh.
and just not even expecting it. We're kind of sitting watching TV in the our upstairs living room place, and I try and do sort of the one cheek sneak thing.
No.
We had noise, but boy, oh boy.
It was bad.
Yeah, this was a Wuhan fart. This was just like, you can almost see the room turn brown.
It was bad.
Yeah, that was one of the worst I've laid down. But the weird one, it wasn't followed. A lot of times, you start the chain rolling and you break wind, and then it's like, ugh, and then you do like 20 more. And they're all variations on the bad stank, but not as bad as the first. This one was like, for somehow my stomach was like, I'm going to get it all out in one.
Do you know Tom Sizemore died?
Oh yeah, from
I don't know. It's to say the troubled life. I can't read it in the Times.
Yeah, now he's Tom Size-less, I'm afraid. Yeah, he passed. Well, he was past week or so on coma or life support, or something happened to him.
What happened?
I don't know his life. Was he in Platoon? He was in, I forgot what movies he was. I know he's one of those actors you kind of know the name. And Tom Sizemore. And then they ask me, what do you look like? I don't know, kind of handsome, rugged guy. I couldn't really pay. Well, what movie was he in?
Yeah.
I know he's Tom Sizemore. Well, now he's not Tom Sizemore. Now he's dead. But anywho, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time, here in the Daverhood with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful, adorable wife, Joyce, and all of you watching at home on our Facebook page, and then of course checking our archives later. So I know you want to get on your machine, so why don't we do the Greeley Crimes and Old Times, bring in Rabbi Saul. So do you want to do that? And I'll bring Rabbi Saul in first, so you can get, or what do you want to do?
Let's do the Greeley Crimes and Old Times, then I'll help you do that. I can get dressed and then do the
deal. So you're watching Dave's Gone By. It's time for.
This is my favorite one.
It's time for a segment that we've been doing for many years now, because Joyce and I lived for a period of time in northern Colorado. And while we were there, we got the newspaper for the town, the Greeley Tribune, real actual newspaper. Only comes out hard copy 4 times a week now, because that's the newspaper biz. But while we were there, 7 days a week, and we would, most of it was typical, normal newspaper with news, but there were 2 wonderful columns in there every week based on real things. But the people there have a wry sense of humor, which is wonderful. So one of the columns was called Top Log, that had to do with actual phone calls from concerned citizens phoning the local police department, their dispatch, to say, wow, this is, something weird is happening out there. Please send a cop. And half the time, the weirdo is the person making the phone call, and other times it's just like, okay, kind of weird. So these are not things like, oh my God, somebody got stabbed,
No.
someone got shot.
They're not emergency calls that
Yeah.
people made into an emergency. They're just like oddities.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So cop log, this column I used to look forward to in the Tribune religiously every week. And we started sharing them with you because they're so wonderful. But the only time I would have noticed cop log, never even thought about it. The first time I saw it, this is going back probably 8 or 10 years, I wish I'd saved it, was I'm looking through the Greeley Tribune. I never bother with cop. I don't want to see these local crimes. We're trying to live a non-criminal life. The only crime that happened to us in Greeley was we had our bicycles stolen when they were chained up right in front of the fucking school we were teaching at. And we were like, I don't know, people steal bikes. Like, yeah, great, thanks, guys. But otherwise, it was a very safe town. So I didn't want to read it. But then I see the headline, horse poops over neighbor's fence. And I'm like, what? What is this? And literally, this is the lead story of something in a major newspaper on like page 5. It's like horse poops on fence. And I was like, okay, A, we are living in a small town, and B, and then I realized that they were aggregating all these ridiculous things that were happening in the neighborhood. I'm like, oh my God, how did I miss this? How did I miss this? So I started finding those. And then there's another wonderful column that our friend Mike Peters does called 100 Years Ago, where he literally would go through the local paper, but from 10 decades prior, and then find things that were written in the newspaper all those years ago that to modern eyes and our modern sensibilities are cute or funny or ridiculous or racist or something they barely even realized when they were writing it, like 100 years from then we'd be kind of laughing at. Well, we mix those up and we put those together in a segment that we do called Greeley Crimes in Old Times. The only issue has been that we haven't had new cop logs since November. And I've been having this correspondence there with Morgan McKenzie, who is the writer at the Tribune, who deals with cop log. And back in November said, well, there's this thing, I guess, between the police department and us and getting the things up electronically.
Like a fight?
No, just like technological things, something changed of how to get the coding and the stream of the cop log up through the thing. And she said a week and a half ago, well, we got one log thing. So they've got it working. And it should be starting every Thursday. Every Thursday, we'll get cop logs back. This is a week and a half ago. As of yesterday, nothing. No news, and even their search engine thing is screwed up on the site now.
Maybe.
So I can't even find 100 years ago without scrolling.
Maybe they're still working that out.
I mean, it's newspapers. They have no money. They've got nothing now. So I'm hoping they get it together. I thank Morgan for taking the time and following up on this for basically my purposes and people who miss the column in the paper. So we're still parceling out parsimoniously the criminal things, the top log items, because we have so few left. And these are going back to October, November. Right? But thank goodness Mike Peters still doing his old times things.
Wow.
And we're supplementing.
I can make like cop log.
Yeah, right. Just go to the police station, write stuff down, take a JPEG of their logs.
Use your phone and take a picture.
Yeah. Anyway, and we also add some elsewhere stuff. So there's odd news happening all over the world, all over the country. So since we don't have a lot of crimes, we do have some odd news that we supplement with. Anyway, as I said, we mix this all up to create Greeley Crimes and old. Oh, I didn't get that ready, did I? Greeley Crimes and Old Times. La 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 la, diggly diggly doo. ladies and gentlemen, Coplog and 100 years ago, mixing to create Greeley crimes and old times here on Dave's Gone By. So let us begin with our one and only crime of the day.
Oh,
It's it's short too. It's a caller on 14th Avenue reported, so pretty good. Remember, this isn't a newspaper. Okay, this isn't just something that's going to. This is published in a daily, real community, well, city newspaper. A caller on 14th Avenue reported a skunk smell
no.
from the canal that worsens at night.
Why would it worsen at night though?
That's right. That is the weird thing. Well, skunks are not. Wait, they're nocturnal, right? They're like a lot of rodents, like rabbits, and so they should be out there, not sneaking up while they're sleeping. I don't know. I don't know if they really mean a skunk smell or a stinky smell coming from the canal, because skunk is very distinctive. There's actually, if a woman wears too much patchouli, she smells like a skunk.
No,
So-
skunk is like it's hard to imitate that.
Yeah, but as opposed to like August in New York City platform bum piss smell, which is very different. When people might say, "Oh, that's kind of skunk." No, nothing like skunk. Kind of would rather smell skunk than that. Anyway, so there's a piece of that's a phone call that came into the Greeley Police Department. I would like to share more of them with you, if the Greeley Tribune would only. Anyway, we do have some old times for you. Students at the many teaching colleges in the country, they have been ordered to avoid Chicago, Columbia, and Northwestern universities. Why? Because they allow their female students to smoke.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen some smoking female students, and I don't know why there was that. That they say that would not be a good thing for future teachers. So, yeah, it's kind of like you were telling us just last week again about the nun who would herd you into the playground for recess so she could go and have a.
She was just a teacher.
Oh, she wasn't a nun?
No, she was a teacher. She was Mrs. O'Brien. She was a third grade teacher, and I was her lunch monitor. I would take her students at lunch, and then she would want me to keep them extra time so she could go out and smoke above us. She'd smoke.
Yeah. Do you think that was a negative influence on children seeing the nuns smoke?
She wasn't a nun.
I was seeing their teachers, seeing their third
I
grade.
don't think they saw her, but I'm sure a lot of, at that time in that community, working class community, in that generation, I'm sure a lot of their parents smoked
Yeah,
too. I'm sure a lot of,
Yeah, my parents smoked. My
Yeah.
mom smoked cigarettes. My dad smoked pipes.
when I babysat, the girl from that class, her mother, I don't know if her mother or father smoked, one of them did, and they said, we don't smoke in the apartment, like they didn't smoke. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I get you don't want to smoke in front of children. It's not a good thing.
Oh, I've never seen that before,
Yeah.
like it wouldn't have been a shock.
Even in 1923, when that was from.
But,
I know I guess it is not great
Yeah.
that women,
I
but
told you,
women
like,
allowed to smoke.
my advice, when I was in grad school, I had
Yeah.
I had a professor, who probably was in her 50s or 60s,
Mhm.
and she had been pregnant, and they didn't want her to teach when she was younger. They didn't want her to be in the classroom pregnant. So they had all these rules of like,
Oh,
what you could, I mean, I'm sure even like, if you look at the way that the professor dressed now,
Yeah.
people from that generation would be, where's the suit, where's your,
Well,
women should be wearing skirts or whatever. It would have been.
you want to find from this week,
What?
literally.
Yeah, tell me.
The teacher, I think it's from New York.
Yeah.
The woman who was fired, fine, or late, or suspended, or whatever the hell she is,
Yeah.
taken out of the classroom. She has size Z monster tits with incredible nipples and a big fake wig, like a blonde wig. And this person was teaching in front of young children.
Kids don't,
Now, the person is saying that she has like monster gigantomastia. That's the word for it. Like utter medical
Yeah.
giant real monster tits.
Condition.
This is no, but look at this person. You just Google gigantomastia. Which was a Japanese cartoon I used to watch after school when I was a kid. Gigantomastia. Oh, we're coming. wait till you see this person. Because if the tits are real, you can make a case.
Canadian.
Oh, it was Canada?
Yeah.
Was
They're
it?
prosthetic.
Oh, but then, yeah, if they're prosthetics, that's different. Take a look at this person that was teaching children. Is there a picture?
Yeah. But are they prosthetic?
Yeah, again, if they're this person has no business teaching children if those are prosthetics.
I don't understand the whole thing. I don't want to.
If you haven't seen this, you haven't lived, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, there's being open and there's being reasonable and fair about gender and sexuality and
What is the-
things. And then there's freaks.
Tell your narwhal story.
Huh?
Your narwhal story.
Oh. This I don't. Yeah, this was going back about 10 years now, when we didn't really belong to the synagogue, but Joyce and I we lived 1 block from the local synagogue, and then we loved the rabbi and liked a lot of the people there. So we kind of, when the high holidays came or something, we'd go and we'd take part in their Passover thing and we'd pay for the Passover meal. So we didn't want to spend the money or get so involved that we were members, but we liked having the shul there and going, a couple times a year, especially to their special events. And so one time when there was a Purim thing, perfect timing, Purim thing, where I was getting really almost obsessed with narwhals, the way I recently have been with axolotls. And narwhals are these wild creatures. They're sort of seal-like, but they live in the Antarctic, and they've got these tusk things. They're like shapely seals, but they have these ridiculous.
This is the same person.
He's denying that it's him,
Oh.
but and if that is the same person, he might have large male breasts, but that's not what he was showing. And so I said, "Oh, I want to be a narwhal," and I wanted to put on a narwhal horn for my costume for Purim, as opposed to just any regular day when I want to walk around like a narwhal. So I design, and I am not good with arts and crafts, but I design how I do a narwhal horn that isn't really pointy the way theirs are, because I didn't want to be dangerous to anyone. I don't want to have like a big point sticking out of my forehead, but I need something on my forehead. So I take a paper towel roll and then cover it with, Joyce had some pantyhose thing. And so I put rolled pantyhose over the paper towel thing, affix it to, I think I had it like I put the pantyhose thing on my head like a do-rag with the paper towel thing sticking out of it and kind of crunched towards the top a little bit. So that it would be not a dangerous thing, but you can actually say, "Oh, look, I'm a narwhal." However, and I didn't really want to even admit it to myself, but I guess it was true, that it looked a lot more like the phallic object Alex wears on his head in A Clockwork Orange when he's sexually assaulting. Though it basically apparently looked like I was wearing a sex toy dick on my head. If I wanted to do that, I would just attach a sex toy dick to my, but no, it was a narwhal. And I told everybody, this is a narwhal horn. And the rabbi was telling Joyce, you can't, there's children here.
She said to me, she's like, I'm not sure I don't want to crush David's spirit or his creativity, but we have influencing and impressionable young people who might not get the subtlety of a narwhal.
I'm a narwhal. I should have made it look more like a narwhal. It should have been like harder, as it were, and more of a, I should have attached a flute to my head.
Why?
Because that would have been closer to a narwhal horn. Like one of these recorders, like the white one that I just bought, the ivory looking flute recorder. I'm going to put that on. It was stuck out of my head, and that would make me look more.
Try that, yeah.
Rather than dildo man that I kind of turned
Just a
into.
little bit.
Yeah. I've had a life, ladies and gentlemen. So wait, how do we get into the smoking? I'm speaking of things that are good or bad for children and religion and so forth. The United Presbyterian Bible School of Greeley held a party last weekend at the Bovard home on 10th either street or avenue, not sure. Boys who won the debates at Fort Collins High School were the honored guests and were served a jolly meal. Yeah, we're right now, literally, one of the things we're doing in the classes that I'm teaching is trying to tell why something feels like it was written 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. And how can we tell that this was not from last month?
That's a good
Because
question.
they were served a jolly meal. That phrasing feels,
Antiquated. Antiquated.
but I'm glad the United Presbyterian Bible School boys had a jolly meal. And by the way, a change has been made
Ooh.
for entrance to the Weld County Fair this year. Well, that still goes on. We have it. We have a fair here in Maryland, but there in Weld County in northern Colorado, visitors can still buy tickets to attend and can leave and return free later in the day. But this year, hold on.
I gotta watch the video.
So when visitors come to the fair in Weld County, this year, instead of tickets, they're gonna do something else. In years past, visitors were passing on their tickets to relatives who got in the fair for free. So no, can't do that. Now they're doing the old. Can you see, the more things change, the more they remain the same. Back 100 years ago, they would give people hand stamps. And I thought, in the 1960s, 70s, when you're going to these clubs, when you were going in and out of like kind of funky off-Broadway theater, and instead of tickets, they take an ink thing instead. And I hated that. I hate having, God knows I will never get a tattoo. I hate having ink on me or makeup or anything on my skin that isn't like me. So, I would cringe when I would have to go to these events. And then they would stamp me. And you would see, no matter how much, when I was finally home on the Long Island Railroad, I'd be rubbing it off, tearing off pieces of skin just to get this ink off of me. And they were doing that not just then, but 100 years ago for people going into a fair. So who knew that? Anyway, let's go elsewhere before we get to one or two more of old times. Let's go elsewhere. This is from CNN. And I think the funniest part of this is that this came from the CNN style section. Why? You got me. The director of a leading German ballet company is being investigated by the police. He's also been fired.
Oh, no.
This director took offense to a review by a local dance critic. What do you think, hon, that he did?
Men and women dancing together.
Well, nobody. In other words, the critic wrote something that the director didn't like. The director did not like this critic. What did the director do as revenge?
Oh, he made a performance about the critic.
That'd be wonderful. No.
He put the critic on a boat and gave him ketchup for a couple days. No.
Been done.
Oh.
Been there, done that.
Kicked him hard and yelled.
Wow, that would have been an arrestable offense, but did not do that. But you're closer now.
He took an ad out in the paper saying the critic was not naughty.
That's actually brilliant, but no.
He did a dance on the critic's toes.
No,
What?
but somehow this is worse and better.
Oh God.
So he took him at this dance critic review and it has been reviewing him in ways he hasn't liked for a long time. So the director of this ballet company,
Oh no.
remember that ballet is known for,
The toe shoe.
no, but another great one. Remember, ballet, beauty, grace, elegance, athleticism. The
Oh, no.
director, I know about the local dance teacher is a woman.
Oh, no matter.
I'm sorry, not teacher, local dance critic.
Yeah.
The woman is a woman who wrote this.
Okay.
The director smeared dog feces
Oh.
on her face.
No, but that's bad.
Yes!
No, but that's an infectious agent. What?
This is how shigella started. The director smeared her face with dog shit.
I'm sorry, I hope they got in trouble.
Yes, according to journalist Wiebke Huster, this is the guy who's writing about this. Marco Goeke head of Hanover State Opera's ballet company, verbally attacked her during intermission of his latest ballet's debut. Goethe, who was upset about a previous review, rubbed the dog feces hard and most brutally into my face. I guess he bagged it early as a dog.
That's premeditated. You gotta get that.
So I guess this is why the style, Huster told CNN Style,
Oh, God.
quote, "It was in an open bag, which usually is tied up with a knot." Yeah, one hopes so. Huster reacted, as you might expect, screaming and crying.
Yes.
It was like, now Goethe later did apologize and said, quote, and I love the reserve of this. This is an apology, it's not really an apology. "In retrospect, I realized this was a shameful act in the heat of the moment and an overreaction." Really? Really? Was the overreaction? Really?
Can't you sue somebody for assault if someone puts
Yeah,
food
well-
on you? That's assault, right?
He blamed nervous strain on having 2 premieres this month. However, he also told news outlets, so this is a man in the middle of an apology. He also told news outlets that critic Huster had been, quote, "throwing shit at him for years."
No, but that's different.
Yeah, of course it is. Han, you'll love this.
Oh, no.
What is interesting about the feces in the dog bag?
Don't say they're human.
No, it was dog feces.
I don't know.
What would make us very happy?
Dachshund?
Yes, it was his dachshund left feces in the dog bag, which he then used to attack Huster.
It's than the feces. It's not like a pit
Yeah.
bull or something.
Yeah, it's still. It's still.
I would, if somebody put feces in my face, I would sue them because that's a biological.
It's a thing, yeah. The region's newspapers are standing with Huster, though no charges have yet been filed. There's an investigation going on. No word on whether I'm adding this part.
Oh.
No word whether Goethe's next ballet will be Sleeping Beauty
Oh.
or Crapelia. Thank you ever so much. Thank you. All right, let's see. Let's do. Actually, I have 2 elsewheres.
You want to save
Okay.
them for the next?
You know what? I've got 3 elsewheres. Let's do one more elsewhere
Yeah, save
because we have
it.
time, and then I'll save. And this is from the New York Post here. So we go from CNN, which has blocked conspiracy theories, to the New York Post, which lives on conspiracy theories. But this is a true thing. An auction house, and this is a perfect lead-in because we've got Rabbi Saul coming in a few minutes. An auction house was planning to sell
Okay.
a top Orthodox Jewish leader's pants.
Okay.
However, they pulled the dead rabbi's trousers off the block after an inquiry by the New York Post. The well-worn black pants.
I don't get it.
These are a pair of pants that he wore day in, day out. They're now on sale, they're being auctioned off to the Orthodox community for people, because this is a very respected.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, so they look like a Sadek.
Well, yes, the well-worn black pants belong to the late Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky, known among his followers as, quote, minister of the Torah.
Happy pants.
The pants were set for auction March 1st
How much?
with an opening bid of
$1,000. $2,000. $10,000.
$3,200.
How do you come up with
That's just the opening bid. They're not accepting any lower. The auction listing read, quote, pants that belong to Rabbi Kanievsky and worn by him for a long time.
Oh,
Now, the popular rabbi died last year at age 94,
oh, God bless him.
and he was so beloved that 500,000 followers attended his 500,000 followers attended his funeral in Israel.
Wow.
So depending on who interprets Jewish law,
Yeah.
that means the clothes he wore while studying the Torah
Yeah.
could be holy, as opposed to his pants being holy. Yeah. A letter from the rabbi's grandson, Gedalia Honigsberg,
I love that name.
confirmed, well, Gedalia would be a woman's name generally, but Gedalia confirmed that the pants were worn by his grandpa for a very long time. So the Jewish art dealer, quote, "There's definitely money to be made." Oh, Jewish. So, oh, he's finally dead. We can take
No,
some money off the
I think
pants.
if they, it would be nice if they donated the money to a charity
Oh, that
in
would
his
be-
name.
Yeah.
Like a charity that helped poor kids or something, or sick people or something, that'd be nice.
So, and this Jewish art, well, it's an art dealer who would say this.
Yeah.
In fact, even paying $10,000 for a holy garment is a steal. Yeah. So Prime Judaica, which is handling the auction, pulled the item only minutes after the New York Post inquired about it,
Wow.
leading art dealer Israel Clapman to rant, "We demand they put pants back on." And this story just keeps giving. It just keeps getting better and better. Clapman intended to bid on the trousers for himself, either to flip them for more money or to
Yeah. Mhm.
rent them
Oh, no.
to devout Jewish men who want to be married while wearing the rabbi's pants.
It's like
Yeah,
you can rent a wedding dress too.
Right, you wear a tux, why not rent the rabbi's Torah study pants?
But you know what I think would have been nicer from him, like his hat,
Mm.
because then that would have been more like.
Oh, that's 15 grand to
No, but
start.
people could wear it, but it's not like, why the pants? Why not the jacket or the hat?
That's what they had there. I'm sure he has a closet. They're gonna see how one thing sells. Let's sell pants.
Socks.
Yeah. They're not selling us underpants
You
yet.
could use a spike plate, you could wear a spike guard. Here's his comb.
This is bridge. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that would. Yeah. Well, it's a whole. I mean, let's face it. If Pope John Paul, right? If a cap that
Or
he wore,
Shearson.
Schneerson. I mean, yeah. If Schneerson had a coat,
Mhm.
wouldn't that be worth something for his fame? The shoes Judy Garland wore in The Wizard of Oz. I mean, it's like,
Yeah, but do those items retain the essence of the being? I don't know.
they don't really, but they make you feel like,
Like when a kid, when people get married in a wedding dress, it's a family thing or like an heirloom. I understand.
yeah. I mean, I do get it, but it's funny that there's just these worn
Yeah.
pants, well worn
Speaking of,
pants.
wearing rabbinical pants, you want to bring in the rabbinical?
Not yet. There's more to this story.
Oh, no.
Amazingly enough, there's more to this. To be fair, there's an established marketplace for relics owned by religious icons. In fact, books owned and annotated by Rabbi Kanievsky,
That I can see though, the books make sense to me. Yeah.
while he was still alive, those were selling for thousands of dollars. So,
Oh.
it's good to be the
It's good to
pinnacle
be
king.
a
Yeah.
well-respected figure.
On the other hand, some Jews find all of this in bad taste, said Abe Kogielski,
Oh, no.
auction house director of Cedarhurst-based J. Greenstein and Company.
Oh, boy.
So we pass that place all the time.
Mhm.
He said, quote, you said this, "I understand if it's his hat, his tzitzis,
Yeah.
his talis, or the tefillin,
Yeah.
but pants I find very repulsive."
He might have pooped in them or pooped in
He
them.
probably did at some point. He's an 80, 90-year-old man. And at a certain point, he's reading Leviticus and Yochim and decide to go good. Dirty down here. Bring the dustpan and the shovel. In closing, he added, quote, "Imagined if they auctioned off the Pope's sock." Yeah, I can, actually.
So this is weird. We had he's dead now, but he was a demographer at the Max Planck Institute in Germany.
Yeah.
And he died very young, but he was known, like his MO or trademark was he always wore like a nice suit, but like weird socks, like cute socks. So it makes sense, like some people had that as a trademark.
If let's say they had the flannel shirt that Bob Dylan wore when he wrote Blowing in the Wind,
Yeah,
wouldn't you be like, oh,
yeah, but maybe pants because it's your
I guess. I mean, it's funny that, all the only rarely anti-Semitic comments that you would see under the story
Mhm.
on the phone, but most of it's just people making fun. We're saying, "Oh God, stinky." Well, yeah, I'm one of those pants, like without occurring to them that the pants were washed. He wore them probably 1 or 2 days, and then they washed the pants. They went to the laundry. They went in the washing machine. It's not like he just wore them for months at a time without washing them.
Maybe he did, you don't know. Oh, what's religious
Oh.
custom? You don't know.
To stay clean. Jews are a clean people. We believe in cleanliness. Well, not me. Not me. I shower once a millennium. But all right.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I
If
understand.
I go to a thrift store, I'm buying somebody else's
I know,
clothes. I don't
I know.
mind it. They were washed.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Believe it or not, there's still more. So the Abe Kugelski of the Cedarhurst thing, he's against it. He thinks the selling pants that were worn many times is repulsive. To which another Judaica collector responded that, hey, the Pope sock is so weird. People would bid on Walt Frazier's basketball jersey,
Yeah.
and he wore that, getting all stanked up and doing layouts. What about his basketball shorts? You're watching. Yeah. It's not that different. Still, he said, Rabbi Kanievsky would probably have preferred that Jews spend their time on his ideas and not money on his clothes. Okay. And that said, and this is wonderful.
I'm looking.
This is the finale of this. In 2013, Rabbi Kanievsky did talk about pants. He said that wearing, this is why I love religion. Kanievsky said wearing skinny pants was, quote, a custom of the Goyim and should be prohibited by Jewish law.
Wow.
In fact, donning tight pants would be grounds for being ostracized from the Orthodox
I'm reading this
community.
story.
So at least we know that even if he didn't wash the pants very, very well or very often,
We know they were wide leg.
yeah, he wasn't so tight in them that the sweat.
Here it says the opening bid is 3,200.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah,
You said 3,225 or something.
oh, no, it was $32. Yeah, $3,200 for the opening bid for Rabbi Kanievsky. How much would we have bid, do you think?
Oh, look at them. Here's the pants.
Only, please, I gotta show this.
You got to scroll up and down here.
So folks, if you're interested, you can probably do private bidding. Yeah, wouldn't Justin Timberlake love to have a pair of these? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but
Beautiful
I wonder
story.
what size it is. And what happens if somebody wears it on the wedding and they rip it or something?
Oi, Ashanda, that would be. Like they could rip you so
I
much.
can't see why everybody thinks my dad looks like a rabbi. I mean, yeah.
Oh, was that Kanievsky?
Yeah.
This is, I mean, it's mostly beer thing, but look at the, there he is. Yeah, the epitome of
I hope his
Elster Clench's style.
His pants were not tight leg,
No,
Skinny leg.
this guy
Yeah.
railed against skinny pants.
I see a lot of Orthodox people wearing them.
Now, skinny pants now?
Yeah.
Well, the modern Orthodox, they're changing
In
the
Cedarhurst,
norms.
there's a lot of the guys they were wearing, the pants, but those pants were.
Yeah, they're trying to, not the ultra Orthodox in the
Somebody got
soccer.
no pants subway ride.
Well, that's rather different. Yeah, it is extremely different. Anyway, wow, it is, oh, no, wait. Let's do one more old time to round this off and finish up. Greeley crimes and old times.
Another story.
On this-
Rabbi's pants are removed from auction.
Oh, there, yeah. What a shame. If the family wants to sell his pants at an auction,
Oh, somebody did say we demand the pants be put back on. That was cute.
there you go. Let's do one more item from old times. This is, the more things change, the more things change. An editorial back from 1923 in the newspapers. With the oversupply of school teachers we have today,
Hmm.
isn't it time to cut teachers' pay
What?
and allow only the better teachers to stay on the job? At the same time, this is the genius writing of the Greeley Tribune Republican back in the day. At the same time, we contend that pool halls are detrimental to our town,
Mhm.
right here in River City. If not, why are children excluded from entering pool halls in Greeley?
They should have the teachers working at the pool halls, and extra teachers.
We would hope some action could be taken soon to overcome the problems of overpaid teachers and the bad reputation of pool halls.
It's a weird combo, but
Yeah,
hey.
yeah. Geniuses writing for papers back in the day. Ladies and gentlemen, that, my friends, is Greeley Crimes and Old Times.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no
Oh,
fool.
he was not.
I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool. Greeley was no fool.
Oh, he was not.
Yippee-yi, 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 yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
Bum, bum, bum. Yay! So, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz. We still have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, and Joyce and I are going to talk about our very exciting new additions. It's like the sewing machine and Fiddler on the
I
Roof.
can go downstairs and fetch the.
Yeah, well, yeah, but while you're doing all this, and we were on the exit, because Rabbi Saul,
I need to-
Rabbi Saul Solomon, who is, when he sold or tried selling his pants, I mean, he actually had to pay to have someone take his pants away. Because, yeah, he hasn't
Remember
changed
like
very
in the
often.
dorm, they used to do the panty raids and stuff? They
Oh,
did
my
it for
God.
his, but they gave him back.
In fact, they had to throw out that, then they had to burn everybody else's blood. So Rabbi Saul Solomon is the founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. He often does our interviews. He also has done
Give me a second.
rabbinical reflections, which are these mini sermons. And it would have been nice for him to do another Purim one. If you go back into the archives, you can find Rabbi Saul's old reflections for Purim, which are basically him telling funny Jewish jokes and their interpretations by great scholars. And you can also watch his stage show that he did a decade ago off Broadway. There's the whole thing was captured on very good video. You can find all of that at his website, shalomdammit.com. But today we have a segment where he does this every once in a while, where he goes through items from local magazines and newspapers geared toward the Jewish community in Nassau, Suffolk, Long Island.
So you have to understand, he might look a little different.
Oh. All right. So, ladies and I'm going to play some music. This is music from Moshe Denberg. He gave us permission. So, I can put the music sound on. So, Facebook, don't block this. We have his permission. Here's The Longing Sky, some Jewish music from Moshe Denberg. Eventually, if it would play. Or not. Or maybe we don't have The Longing Sky from Moshe Denberg. Instead, we're going to play some klezmer music, as we usually do. There we go. Coming now, Rabbi Saul. Oh, happy Purim, everybody! I could play the most depressing goddamn music in the history of the world to start us off for Purim. But ladies and gentlemen, I am Rabbi Saul Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And it is a delight for me to be here just a day or two before the joyful Jewish holiday of Purim. This is one of the many ones where Jews were under a terrible threat. And then the good, quick thinking of smart people, plus the help of Hashem, got us out of it, and our enemy was destroyed instead of us. It's a wonderful thing. If you don't know about Purim, look it up. But I'll tell you, one of the fun things about it is that we get to eat hamantaschen, which are these triangular-shaped fruit-filled pastry cookie things that are absolutely delicious. And now the thing is about renewal and growth, and it also looks like a vagina, which makes it extra tasty to bite into. But you can fill them with raspberry goo or apricot goo or Pruin goo, which is you have two of those, you don't have to worry about anything. You'll be smearing poop on critics' faces is like that other guy. So you got that. And there's also something called Mooin. There's Pruin, and then there's Mooin. I have no idea what the hell is in Mooin. It could be dog poop. We're not 100% sure. It could be something with COVID in it. There's prune. Stick with prune. Prune is delicious. Even if you don't like prune Hamantaschen, absolutely delicious. Make chocolate Hamantaschen now. It's a lovely thing. And you eat these on Purim. You dress up in funny costumes, and you retell the story of Purim, and you do not just a little bit. You do the whole Megillah. That's a little Jewish comedy there. Because you read from this thing called the Megillah. It is the story of Esther and Mordecai and how they defeated Haman and all that stuff. So you go, and you're also supposed to get drunk. In fact, you're supposed to get drunk, so drunk you can't tell the good guys from the bad. Essentially, it's like Fox News. So ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do for our segment today is something that I do every once in a while. Oh, look at him. Look, won't you love to buy his pants for $4,000? God, I can smell them from here. No, but these are newspapers from around the 5 towns on Long Island. I'm in Great Neck. 5 towns is a little more southerly, westerly towards New York. But there's these newspapers that come out that are specifically geared towards the Jewish community and the Orthodox, the Haredi community. And we love sharing items from the papers. Now, the thing is, I haven't done this segment in a while, so these are rather old items from the paper, but I still want to share them with you. For example, let's take a look. Let's see what we can talk about and share. How about this? Just Brick. Yes, doesn't this like a fun event? Just Brick. What the hell is this? It's inspiration, discussions, Ask the Rabbi, featuring Rav Gay Friedman, Rabbanit Yamina Mizrahi, Mr. Charlie Harari. Oh, it's don't feel blue. It's Mr. Charlie. That's a rather African-American call out there. What else we got here? Rabbi Yossi Ben Susan is all happening at Chofetz Chaim live Eicha reading. Wait, this is not all that funny. That's why. This was a live streaming and in-person notice. It's a Tisha B'Av. They don't use celebration because Tisha B'Av was a sad holiday. It is a complete 13-hour Tisha B'Av experience. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you think you've been to some long parties, if you think that sometimes you have to sit through some long lectures in your classrooms, 13-hour Tisha B'Av experience of Just Brick. That's what you feel like after sitting through 13 hours of Tisha B'Av with these people. Let's find something funnier, I hope. All right, here we go. How about this for a headline from the Jewish Star newspaper? The circumcision to all of our life's desires. Basically, if the rabbi cuts too close, you get a circumcision of all of your life's desires. It's the eternal sign of Jewish faith because it unites the life of the soul with the passions of the... No, it just cuts part of your shmekel off. Don't know what the hell you're talking about. Next, time for next in the newspaper. We love this. Have no idea why this is in the Jewish Connection, the name of the newspaper. The Jewish Connection, right? Okay. Jewish Connection newspaper. And this is not just a one-time thing. This is a repeating column. We've talked about it before. Ladies and gentlemen, they ask the question, and it is an important question, what's in your lotion? Really. What's in your lotion? And how about this particular one? Independence Day dermal dreams. What this has to do with the Torah and the Tanakh and Jewish life, I don't know. But let's read some of it. This is intriguing me now. Dear readers, Shabbat Shalom. Happy Saturday. Happy Shabbos to you. Independence Day in the United States means different things to different people. Oh yes, this is from July. From here In Pardes Hana, Israel, where the writer is, there is just the slightest twinge of homesickness come July 4th, not necessarily for the old country, because I'm in a very old country, that's cute, that's nice, but for the people and traditions that come with a secular holiday. Different than our Jewish holy days, Independence Day is a day to celebrate our freedoms. Fine. Sticking with the motto of, quote, if you can't eat it, don't put it on your skin. Let's examine 3 ways we can gain dermal independence. You know, there's segues, and there's gently moving. Dave, who is the producer of this podcast, of this show, and allows me to do what I do on here, he is a part-time professor in real life, and he teaches composition. And he teaches how kind of to go easily, smoothly from one idea into the next. And yet, going from Independence Day, the holiday, not in Israel, in America, to, hey, what are you putting on your skin? Only a doctor would put this on. Ladies and gentlemen, the easiest way to make sure your lotions and creams follow our marvelous motto is to make them yourselves. Yes, remember, balsamic vinegar can irritate your delicate dermal drape. And ladies, if you're not married, leave your dermal drape. Don't be rubbing anything on your dermal drapes unless I can watch. Want to use something not so flowery? Try Clary Sage Essential Oil. Good smelling, uplifting, and edible. Sounds like a triple win to me. She is writing. Oh, this is just wonderful. That's smart stuff. All right. Anyway, I'm never throwing this away. What's in your lotion? Let's see some more things that are in actual Orthodox Jewish newspapers for the Jewish community. How about this? Nobody moves like this. No, not Arnie Zane or what's his name, Billy, the dancer people, not Pilobulus. There's nobody. First of all, why does it look like this 11-year-old child has the belly of a 40-year-old man? First of all, why is he flying like this? Why is his neck sort of out of kilter? Zeke, stretch pants, and no pants should have to stretch like this. That's just wrong every possible way. I think I'm gonna keep this one too. I think this is gonna be. It's like remember, was it Lemuel or Lemuel? We loved him, and it's a shout out to when we were doing this years ago. Anyway, let's have some more fun with things that were in the newspaper. How about this? Hey, Aaron has always marched to his own beat. Yes, first of all, he's not marching there. I don't know if he's in a wheelchair, but he certainly, this is the opposite of marching. His custom IBDU curriculum keeps pace. So look, there's Ivdu. I don't know what the hell Ivdu is. Call for a tour, or is a school for special education. Oh, he's a special child. Because notice, who doesn't play the guitar to the side of their hip like this? That's what. So first lesson is like, no, you hold the guitar in front of you and you play like this. Okay, let's see. Anything more fun? No. More humor for Purim coming from actual newspaper. How about this one? This is a different reason for getting drunk. We get a little tipsy on Passover. That's only a couple of weeks away. Here's getting tipsy on Passover. And look how much fun children have on the Jewish holidays. Isn't that kid just having an absolute blast? Building sandcastles out of very hard brick. That's just, and look at this fella. Oh boy, he's looking at those children like, I'm just gonna, I think I'll just eat them. The hell with this matzah shit. Oh God, all right, let's try this more. See what else is in the Jew papers from just a few months ago. How about this? How about, hey, I know things, I love things that go together really well. How about good Samaritans, and great wine. Yes, it is the One Israel Fund. For only $140, you can register now. You get tour of the fascinating Mount Gerizim National Park. There's Yosef Lookout over Shechem. And if you've ever looked out over Shechem, you know how painful that could be. There's a gourmet meat lunch with wine and Harbracha Winery and Kochav Hashachar Vineyards, along with Adva olive oil, soaps, and creams with your guide. Plus, there's a pick-up and drop-off location at the Liberty Bell parking lot in Jerusalem, behind the Sunol gas station. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and if you're lucky, you see this fella and what he calls his trained monkey, because that's how we feel about people like that. Oh my goodness. Yes, more joy, more joy. Let's see what else we have here. We have, speaking the therapeutic language of music. What is it about special education people that they can't hold an instrument properly? Why? Why does he have to lie down and play the drums? Just kind of like he's going to sleep. Oh, I could read, I could watch TV. No, let me play a big giant bongo drum at 12 at night while I'm lying in my bed here. Just all kinds of wrong here for the therapy of music. Anything else funny here? No, nothing funny here. All right, we're moving forward. We got more. How about this? This is all kinds of things that can go wrong immediately. Here is Lag BaOmer. We're doing all the holidays here. We're coming up on Purim. We've talked about Passover. We've talked about the sad one, not Tu B'Shvat, Tisha B'Av. Let's not forget Lag BaOmer. There we go. Fiery love. What could possibly go wrong? A man in a flammable hat with a black suit
And a beard.
holding a long beard, holding giant flaming candles. Lag BaOmer with the Nicholsburger Rebbe by by Pinchas Friedlander. Oh joy! Oh yeah, no, this is not going to go well. Oh, and let's see what else we have here. What else can we possibly share? Oh, speaking of fire, if you thought that was dangerous and stupid. Let's talk about Yaakov Shweki and the Yeshiva Boys Choir. I don't give them very long to live here. I think the Yeshiva Boys Choir needs to be rescued on Cholamoy Pesach. Do they realize that this is a Michael Jackson hair thing happening right in front of them? Oh my God. Seaside Park Community Arts Center, formerly the Ford Amphitheater, in Brooklyn, New York. There it is. Oh boy, the Yeshiva, smoking hot Yeshiva Boys Choir. Oh, just not right. Ooh. I thought wigs were supposed to make the women look a little sexier. Not really working for the Rebbitzin. Not really happening there. She's kind of, if she had size C gynecomastica tits, even that would not help her, I'm telling you. What else? Let's try this. How about, not supposed to be amusing, but the Jewish art of meditation. Let me tell you something. Jews can't, they don't. All they can think of is like, hungry, when's food, when's sandwich, when's corned beef. There's no dharma, there's no karma, there's just like, my wife is driving me crazy. God. I sit next to somebody in shul and they smell. There is no Jewish meditation. It just does not happen. I'm sorry. 20 foods to boost your metabolism. All you need is one pastrami. All right, here we go. Let's do one or two more of these. I don't want to overburden you with the comedy here. Let's. I don't know what the. Look at this. Let in the light. Let in. Is this horrifying or what? What is going on with the grandpa and the grandson? They're making, I don't know, mayonnaise. He's wearing the safety goggles. The child is not. Because it's okay if the child goes blind. He looks like Geppetto. The kid, look at the kid's face. This is going to be a rapist when he grows up. What is with this? It's like, and all they're doing is they're pouring olive oil into more olive oil. That's all. There's olive oil in one container going into more olive oil in the other. Let in the light is for Geffen light mayonnaise. Let's see what they say about this. Pleasure in the work yields perfection. Our recipe goes back generations. No, it does not. If you are making a light mayonnaise, the recipe is not going back to generations. The recipe is going back to just since people started dieting in modern times, since Priggican. There was no light mayonnaise in 1872. No, it was not light at all. If it was light, it was because the eggs, had no preservatives, and then they were turning brown and floating to the ceiling. What else? Let's see. I can't even read this shit. Here we go. A medley of the freshest eggs, the purest oil, and just the right amount of, what is this word here? I can't read this. No. Of something for a light and airy result. This festival, hold on, I need your eyes on this. Can you read this out loud? This is my assistant here.
Pleasure in the work yields perfection. Our recipe goes back generations, a medley of the finest eggs, purest oil, and just the right amount of sugar for a light and airy result. Time tested and well balanced. Light, smooth, creamy.
Light, smooth, creamy. There you go. Thank you very much for this. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For this. Fine. This is fine. But what? This is just. And they don't even look too. I don't even know what the hell this is. They look like Danish lunatics. I don't know what's going on with this. Anyway, let's do one or two more of the comical things.
Did you do the stretch pants? This one.
The stretch pants. Where's this? Oh yeah, no. Oh, Zeke. Gotta love Zeke. I'm saving them. That's a classic. That's just beyond wonderful.
They're not tiny, skinny like.
How about this, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, Jews and circuses should not go together. Under the big top a circus for the whole family. No, just no. This thing is living in a sewer and pulling children's arms off. No. Nachas, special guest. Nachas, there he is. Got great Nachas watching him. I don't know what this fireball. Oh, it's a CD of something. No, I don't know what the hell that is. You got a guy with juggling with 3 poodles. It'd be more interesting if he actually juggled the poodles. That I would go to see. Oh, and by the way, remember, this used to mean something very different. If you were on 42nd Street in the 1960s and 1970s and you saw this, all male cast, you walked in there with a raincoat. No, I didn't know. But if you were a fake, you walked in there with a raincoat, you were going to have some fun. This is all male cast for children. No women, oh, God forbid. No women flying around in leotards and tight, sexy clothing. Heaven forbid. Oh, no. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, what else can we show here? Let's have one more really good one. What have I got? What is this? Come on, it's stuck to this. There we go. How about what we can do for children? Well, first of all, keep them away from circuses like this. But I say, what can we do for children? Give them a good time. Now, there's only one or two things you can be teaching a child that is doing this. None of them is either you're teaching him to launch an AR-15 at his schoolmates and create havoc and spend the rest of his life in prison, or you lower the tube down a little bit, and I don't even want to talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, what can you do for a child? Oh, my friends. I want to wish you all a very happy, a very joyous, a very merry, even merrier than this guy. Even happier and more joyous than the delight that you can see in this man's face. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a wonderful holiday. It's beautiful weather at the moment. Please, drink, but not to excess. Go dressing up in funny, weird, ridiculous clothes, especially now that nothing's gender specific. Go crazy, have fun, and celebrate really truly celebrate this thing that once again, God, for whatever reason, wanted to make the Jews very fearful of being completely wiped out. And yet, again, we weren't. We survived. Let's eat. Have yourself some hamantaschen. Have yourself some, well, I think they also eat, or we also eat some donuts with jelly in them, but I could be confusing that with Hanukkah. Just have a really fantastic time and celebrate the fact that after all these generations and all the anti-Semitism and all the hatred and the Holocaust, we're here. The enemies, I am here. And I am Rabbi Sal Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple, Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. Dave is coming back to take on the rest of this Dave's Gone By show. Happy March 4th to you. Happy Purim to you. And Shalom Uvracha from every one of me to every one of you. Hoi, hoi, hoi. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, yes, welcome. I'm saying welcome back, but no, I'm back. And thanks for sticking around for the beginning of the third hour of this episode of Dave's Gone By on this Saturday, March 4th, 2023. We are calling it March 4th because we're, F-O-R-T-H, because we're marching forward into spring in a delightful way. Thank you so much to Rabbi Sal Solomon. Again, he is the founder, the spiritual leader of Temple, Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And Rabbi Sal's website is Shalom Dammit. His Twitter feed is at Rabbi Sal Solomon. So if you find them funny, if you find them enjoyable, if you find them spiritually enlightening, someone must, then don't forget to read and hear his sermons at shalomdammit.com. They're pretty wonderful. Anyway, it is wonderful to be here with you in this very tail end. Actually, we're 3 weeks away from winter. We could just as easily, especially where we're living in Maryland, it could just as easily be 34 degrees right now and snowing half a foot. It's just been a really strange and excellent winter in the Northeast. Could be completely reversed next year. So we're feeling like, oh, it's spring already. We never really had the horrors of a heavy winter. And, a few cold days here and there. It's been wonderful. And we're still going to get some cold days this week. But we got this spring feeling happening. And as we mentioned, there's buds on the trees already. And crocuses aren't that great a sign because even living in New York, we had crocus buds coming up in January if we had a warm front, and even some flowering, which was insane. But now we're seeing some of that. It's pretty fabulous, and we're seeing we have hedges on the side of our backyard, and they were bare, which that's a depressing part of winter. And suddenly there's like little light green sprouts on them, which means we're only a couple of weeks away from having light and dark green sprouts, and then maybe a couple more weeks away from the deer coming back and nibbling on them. So welcome back, spring. Welcome back to the deer. Again, me of all people, I should not be the one getting early on this and welcoming spring when there's 3 more weeks of winter. The groundhog would object, but I don't know. I just got that kind of feeling this time, so I'm doing it. Anywho, it's 5 after 11 in the morning Eastern time here on Dave's Gone By. I want to remind you that if you want to read some of the stuff that I've written, which is separate from the actual content of Dave's Gone By, where all the show archives are at davesgoneby.com, please check another website, davelefkowitz.org, davelefkowitz.org, because that is the place where you can read my plays. You can read my song lyrics. You can read a lot of interviews that I wrote and were published in places like Long Island Pulse and Long Island Woman magazine, stuff I wrote for Playbill back in the day, just trying to aggregate as much as I can, just for a place, that people can read my legacy, right? Don't have kids, that's not going to be my legacy. I'm not famous, I'm not making movies somewhere. So my legacy is the stuff that I put on paper and the shows that I've done, the laughs and the entertainment that I've given you and some of the ideas that I've given you. That's the legacy. So if you want to see the best of it and the worst of it, all of it, davelefkowitz.org. I was posting up a lot of stuff months ago, but then I got crazy busy with teaching and moving and everything. So I haven't done that in a bit, but hoping to in the weeks and months ahead. And there's always already more than 1,000 things posted there, davelefkowitz.org. So we have a little bit more to do on this episode of Dave's Gone By. When Joyce comes back, we're going to talk about our special new addition to the family this week. And no, it's not a child, not even an animal thing. It's a thing, but we're thrilled. And then what else? Our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we go to Norrie, Colorado, Norrie, Norrie, Colorado. So that's coming up. And before then, even though we didn't have any guests on the show today, we often do. And we're very proud to have them. And as I said, you can go onto our archives at davesgoneby.com and hear them. Hear the interviews we were doing back in 2004 or 2014 with a lot of pretty well-known people and some not so well-known people. We're very proud of that. So we also like to think of folks who've been on this program as friends and family of the Daverhood. And we like to let you know what they've been up to since they've been on the show. And that is why every week we do a segment called The Friends of the Daverhood. Well, we mentioned the sad news earlier that Yvonne Constant, one of our friends of the Daverhood, our cabaret chanteuse, she passed away this past week at the age of 92. And so we wish condolences to her family, including her son, who has been in touch with us. And again, very sorry for him, very sorry for the loss. She was a special, fun lady. And I never did see her in person doing cabaret, but I'm sure she was quite an entertainer. I want to let you know that Ann Hampton Calloway, let's lower this a little bit, Ann Hampton Calloway and Amanda McBroom, two of our friends of the Daverhood, perfect, yeah, are going to be appearing together. Not yet, I'll need it in a minute. They're going to be at 54 Below on March 4th. That's tonight. So if you're in Manhattan, go for tickets to 54 Below, BELOW, below.com to see Ann Hampton Calloway and Amanda McBroom in tandem tonight. And then running now towards the end of March, our great friend Christine Petty is playing Lady Bracknell in Oscar Wilde's The Importance. Sorry, excuse me. This is a show that is inspired by The Importance of Being Earnest, but it's called The Importance of Being Frank, and it's being done off-Broadway at ART New York over on West 53rd Street, so yay for Christine Petty. Want to let you know that tonight, Jackie the Joke Man Martling, the comedian, is at the Suffolk Theater in Riverhead, New York, on Long Island. And then starting on March 9th, which is, I guess, this weekend, you've got Donna McKechnie, from Tony winner from A Chorus Line. She is going to be at 54 Below. Get tickets, 54below.com. She's doing the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, March 9th through the 11th. 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, no, Thursday. I think it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 54 Below. Starting also on Thursday night, it's Ishmael Reed's new play, The Conductor, and it's directed by his wife, Carla Blank. They've been a tandem power couple in downtown theater. The Conductor is running at Theater for the New City off Broadway. And then Steve Kaplan is teaching his online comedy writing intensive. I think you can join midstream if you want to. It's running now through March 18th, kaplancomedy.com. And if you missed this one, he does it several times a year, so grab the next one. Letting you know that Alan Menken and David Zippel have collaborated on a new musical called Hercules that is getting a tryout at the Paper Mill Playhouse in Millburn, New Jersey. That is happening now through March 19th. On Broadway, they just announced this week the rather surprising news that Funny Girl, the revival of Funny Girl, is going to be closing on September 3rd. Because it's been, the saga.
Oh, good Lord.
All the Streisand fans like, oh, okay. The saga of this show. It was kind of, it came out, it was feeling a bit flop-ish. They brought in Beanie Feldstein as the lead, and some people liked her a lot, but other people were like, yeah, she just doesn't have the magic. And they were kind of hemorrhaging money a bit. And then Julie Benko came in. We saw her. Ooh, what happened here? I think I breathed heavily on the lens there.
Okay.
Yeah, Julie Benko came in. Oh, Tina Benko came in. Is that the name? And she got really good reviews. She was really, it wasn't really a Star is Born situation, but it was definitely a thing where Feldstein was taking a lot of time off, and she had COVID, and she didn't get great reviews. She wasn't happy, and so the producers weren't happy. So they bring in the understudy who really does really well. I ended up seeing Benko. She was really, really good. Was she magical? Was she special? No, she was really, really good in a good production of Funny Girl. But then they brought in, and I don't know, it's just one of those things. They brought in Lea Michele, and the show took off. So zillions of tickets. The critics absolutely plaudit upon plaudit, fell in love with her. And when they brought in Lea Michele, they also brought in our friend of the Daverhood, Tova Feldshuh.
Oh, yes.
And so Leah and Tova are going to be in the show until it closes. So God knows how much money they're making for their contracts, but it's going to keep going until the show ends on Broadway September 3rd. Funny Girl, featuring our friend Tova Feldshuh. Also on Broadway, let's see, anything else on Broadway? Well, wait, we want to let you know, running now through whenever, on Tuesday nights at Don't Tell Mama, you've got Seth's Talent Showcase, which is kind of a variety show hosted and put together by Seth Beeson Hirsch. You can find that at Don't Tell Mama. At least once a week on Tuesdays. Sometimes he does it on other nights as well. Let's see. Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano. They play every week, every Saturday night at Birdland over on West 44th Street. Get your tickets at birdlandjazz.com. Lilias White. Oh, here we have a Broadway thing. She is still in Hadestown on Broadway at the Walter Kerr. Aladdin has music by Alan Menken, and that is at the New Amsterdam Theater. Meanwhile, Alan Menken also wrote music for Little Shop of Horrors. So this is the trifecta of Alan Menkens today on Dave's Gone By. He's got Hercules at Paper Mill, he's got Aladdin on Broadway, and the revival of Little Shop of Horrors at the West Side Theater off Broadway. And then Jim Caruso's cast party every Monday night at Birdland, birdlandjazz.com for tickets. StageBuggy.com, a website of New York nightlife, which is run by our friend Evan Seplow. New and old Dr. Demento shows at drdemento.com. And then a shout out to folks who are usually on the show, but not this week because we didn't do the quiz. But of course, a shout out to Leslie Hoban Blake, who is on.
She's feeling better.
Oh, this is. I just didn't want to do a
but I know she had a lot of health stuff.
Yeah. Shout out to Leslie, and see her in older episodes of Two on the Aisle with our mutual friend Charlie Gross. Those happen on Manhattan Neighborhood Network and on their YouTube channel. Check it out. And plus a shout out to Vicky Quaddy. Go see her in Late Night Catechism and Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun? And pretty soon, Easter Bunny Bingo. These are all at the Greenhouse Theater in Chicago every weekend. And finally, last but not least, David Sheward. Please read him in theaterlife.com, culturaldaily.com, as well as his own blog, The David Desk. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. It's 11:15 in the morning, Eastern Time, here in the Daverhood on Dave's Gone By. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. My darling wife, Joyce, is here with us. And so, before we finish up with the Colorado Limerick of the Damned, we do want to share something rather. Yeah, I know I built this up, and I know my mom sometimes watches the show, and she's like, what? Are they adopting? No.
What?
The exciting, the thrilling, the amazing thing that we have this week. The incredible thing that we have this week. Ladies and gentlemen, Joyce, because, Joyce is all about health, and she's all about, protecting her health, and she's all about eating well, and staying weight conscious and health conscious and good things, and keeping preservative crap out of her body and keeping too much salt and sugar. So it's like, she eats really, really well. I'm a pig. I'm a vacuum cleaner. If I see something, I will basically put it in my mouth and eat it, and like it generally, unless it's an anchovy, an olive, stinky blue French cheeses, and anything else. I'm good. And I don't care if it's a bag of potato chips that's been samporized for freshness, or if it's a really healthy thing. If it's a stalk of broccoli and it's steamed nice, I'll eat that too. But she's really, really careful about her stuff. So careful that she's even thinking, you know what? I've been buying this whole wheat, nice, sliced, well-made, good seed bread with good whole grain, multi-grain things in it. That's got, a good amount of this and not too much of that and so forth. But then she's like, you know what would be even nicer and even healthier? Because I am also agreed that the more you go back to a source, the healthier it is and the better it is. So if you eat a potato chip from a bag, it's crap, you're eating crap. If you eat a potato that you buy from a farmer, I did pick the wrong item, didn't I? I'm sorry. If you no, God, no, do not eat potatoes. Do not eat potatoes.
What? Eat potatoes? Who would do that? Eat potatoes?
You have to have watched other episodes of this show to know what's going on here. But okay, no, I made that up. That's not true. What else can we possibly talk about? Let's say a sweet potato. So you can buy a bag of sweet potato chips. Okay, we're okay. And it can be but it's still processed stuff, and it comes from a factory, and they have to put preservatives in it. Or you can take a sweet potato, a yam, and oh no, come on.
Sweet potato, yes I am, homie.
But you know what I'm saying. If you take the original and you eat something that's straight out of the ground, or a fruit that's out of something, like even juice. If you drink 100% like Tropicana, whatever, pure orange juice, apparently it's fine, but you're dosing yourself with sugar. And it's still, all the pulp is out of it. Even if the pulp is in it, then it's not the same as cutting open and eating an orange, an apple,
Fiber,
tangerine, or whatever it is. It's the closer you get to the source of food, of basic things, the way they were made, coming out of the ground, unless it's, as we were talking, a mushroom, in which case I would prefer to trust someone who knows mushrooms rather than saying, hey, there's a mushroom growing, that should be edible.
Well, we saw that show. The mushroom made the guy stop stuttering. He hugged a tree during a storm while taking psychedelic mushrooms.
Yeah, there's a documentary on Netflix about a guy, this is true, about a guy who, terrible stutterer, couldn't even get a sentence out for most of his teenage years. He takes a handful of psilocybin, like 4 times the proper dose. And he's walking around in a forest, and he's starting to lose his mind. And then there's storm clouds coming. He shinnies up a tree, because that's the best place to go in a thunderstorm, is up a tree for safety. And it's just rain lashing all around him, lightning, thunder, and his mind is going all over the place because he's on mushrooms. But rather than dwell on his fear.
No. He bought a bag of psychedelic mushrooms. He's supposed to take one. He took the whole bag. So
Yeah.
he took 10 times the dose.
Yeah, 10 times the
I
dose.
think if you take 10 times the dose of anything, you won't
It's going to
stutter.
reset your brain
I
chemistry.
don't think you'll stutter ever,
But somehow he doesn't get struck by lightning. He's in the tree. He comes down. He comes down off the mushrooms. He shimmies off the tree. Oh, and while he's in the tree, to keep himself sort of sane,
Yeah.
he's just telling himself, I'm not going to stutter anymore. I'm not going to stutter anymore. Never going to stutter again. Not going to stutter anymore. Comes down off the tree,
Yes.
makes it home, is thrilled to be alive, and then realizes he no longer stutters.
Yes.
Whether it was the mushrooming that did that, or the being saved from death, or whether he was struck by lightning and didn't know it, something affected his whatever. They didn't stutter anymore, which is kind of interesting. But still, I would avoid mushrooms.
I would too. Yes.
Yeah.
I would too.
So how did I get on this? Oh. So right. So Joyce, in wanting to keep closer to the real source of things, said, we're buying bread, like David's bread, or used to like, what was that other, or washers, and we used to get these other brands.
But that's okay.
It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
It's actually fairly simple to make your own bread. And it immediately brought me back 20 years ago, when we were with Joyce's close friend, my friend too.
She's still my friend.
Oh yeah, still is. We went to their house for dinner out on Long Island, and she had a bread maker, among other things, a really nice bread of spicy chicken that was spicy but not too spicy. It was just spicy enough. Could have, she almost could make it too spicy, but she didn't. This is an in-joke among us, because I tortured her with it the whole evening. But, so we're having this chicken, and she pulls bread out of the bread maker and serves warm, fresh bread
it was so
with the meal.
good. Yeah.
I didn't tell her this. I didn't even tell you this. I came.
I think everyone knew.
I had two slices. I was like, fresh bread. So Joyce is like, this week, she's like, you know what? We can do that. Because the nice thing about a bread maker is that the work is buying the ingredients and pouring the ingredients in. But this is not a thing where you're baking a cake, where you're rolling out dough, where you're slamming things, you're making mud, you're pulling and twisting and making pizza. No, you throw it's like a crock pot. It's one of the reasons I love a crock pot. You throw all the stuff in, you throw the meat thing in, and you leave. And it does what it does. And somehow all the ingredients get mixed together. You don't have to keep stirring them. You don't have to baste. You're just kind of like, here, this goes in here, this, that, lid, set, see you in 6 hours, bye. And a bread maker, we found out, is kind of like that. So we buy a bread maker. I think it's a Cuisinart we actually got.
Yes, we did. It was rated high.
High-rated Cuisinart bread maker. And we go to like the place Joyce likes to shop, because it has all organic-y and really good quality, high ingredients of everything. Because why bother making homemade stuff if you're just going to pour crap into it, right? The normal supermarket preservative stuff. So we get the right flour, a little bag of yeast, sugar, but good, granulated sugar. I mean, just the stuff. Right? And so we figure, hey, last night, after, I don't know why we did this after dinner, but we knew it would take some time. So about 7:30 at night, let's make bread. Let's do it. Let's use the machine. Let's make bread. And we're like, okay, what's 1 pound, pound and a half? No, let's do a 2 pound loaf. Let's do it right. Let's just make a 2 pound loaf of bread.
Yeah.
And we'll have it. So we do it. And we take the ingredients. It takes about 10 minutes.
We watched the video, which did it in a half hour.
Right. Yeah. So, and we're pouring in. There's water on the bottom, and then there's a bit of sugar, a little bit of salt. We pour in 2 types of flour, because you need a little bit of white flour, but for whole wheat, there's also a special whole wheat flour. It's a little pain in the ass to clean up and get all these things out of the cabinet, but boom, put the bread thing in the cylinder into the thing, and then we close it. And like, oh boy, we're gonna have bread. Now, fresh, delicious bread, and like, half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah,
And then we look at the booklet thing.
yeah, then we read.
And we say, and it's actually kind of cool because you can look into the machine and see that it starts to turn the thing into dough and pull it and
you can
knead
even
it.
turn on the video so you could watch it. Yeah, it's really cool.
So we then look at the thing and we're like, oh, sorry, when are we gonna have our bread? When hungry for snack anyway because we're eating dinner. When's the bread gonna be ready? And we look and we see that for a 2-pound loaf of whole wheat bread, the time, and it's basically for the yeast to do what it has to do, is 4.5 hours. And Joyce and I, we teach, we're busy, we're older at this point. We go to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Because we gotta be up. We like to get up early in the day. We live in a nice neighborhood, so we're seeing the sun. It's not New York. I'm not coming home from the theater at midnight and getting to sleep at 1 o'clock. We're going to sleep at normal country human beings. And so it's 7:30, and then I realize, I'm like, oh, this bread is gonna be ready at 11:45.
Yeah.
And it's first gonna be ready at quarter. It's not like we're gonna be finished sampling it at 11:45. It means we're going to be eating bread at midnight when we really, 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 really want to be sleeping.
Yes.
And yet there's nothing to do. It's like you can't stop it in the middle. We just kind of like, all right. And you don't want to have it overnight because it's a machine. I guess you could. I don't think it's dangerous for a bread maker to be. But then again, so the bread is done and then it sits there. And what do you have it sit there for 6 hours untouched? You can't do that either. So now we're like, oh, Jesus Christ. So we're waiting and staying up, and I'm trying to work, and I can't even, words are swimming in front of my face on the computer screen because it's 11 o'clock, and like, oh my God, when? But finally we come down at about 11:45, and we look,
Yes.
and lo and behold,
Yes.
bread.
Yes.
Actual, real,
Yes.
homemade
Yeah.
loaf of bread. With nothing in it. No preservatives. I mean,
it has bread in it.
it does have bread. It has yeast in it. It's all yeasty. It looks great. Look at that. Joyce set it for a harder kind of crust. She likes that. But look at it. This is real. This is we can do this a couple times a week. Make our own delicious bread. And here's the thing I don't understand. You can do whole wheat bread. You can do white bread.
Mm-hmm.
You can do challah, which is essentially the same ingredients, just adding an egg.
Yeah.
Who knew? Challah is like,
Probably bakers knew.
Yeah. But it tastes so different. The texture is, how the hell is adding an egg?
I don't know. Maybe the egg gives it the fluffy. Now I want to eat. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know,
You
me
showed
too.
The bread, right?
Yeah, but it's
Just
like,
take a smell of it.
Here, everybody, I'm going to
And
open the bag up so you
tell
can
them
smell.
all night while it was cooking. We're in bed trying to stay awake, and we could smell the bread cooking.
Because every time we get to the stairwell,
Yeah.
we
you
would
could
have the
smell
bread smell. Oh, here, give a whiff.
Mm.
Fresh, that's not good. A fresh homemade bread. But the weird thing is, it also says that you can use the bread maker to make jam.
Yes, and something else. Yeah.
Wait, how? It's a bread maker. You're putting there, got a pulley thing for yeast. How jam?
They also did that when I got my rice cooker. It's like you could steam vegetables, you could do this. I guess they're trying to sell it so that people feel they can.
Now, it can make pretzel bread, which I think is fantastic. And if you make challah, the other thing is the problem with challah, what you're really supposed to do is you make the dough in the bread maker, but then you gotta take the dough out,
if you want
braid it, and put it in the oven.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah, no, I'm not going. Hell no.
You could if you wanted to, like make it. What they're telling you is that the bread maker is not going to make it. It's going to be challah, but it won't be braided. So if you want it to be braided, then you've got to do extra work.
And then if you want a brioche, it's basically challah with milk.
Whoa,
That's all it is.
really?
Yes, French challah is a little lighter and fluffier because it's got milk in it. So this they can do. You can do nut bread. You can do raisin bread, I guess, which nobody even likes raisin bread. But you can really run the gamut. They have all these recipes, except what was the one thing that they didn't have? They do bread with different flours.
Garlic bread.
Garlic bread you can do.
You can also make pizza dough in there. Like it'll need the pizza dough.
Yeah.
It'll.
But there was one thing I was surprised. It was like you can make jam, But you can't, well, the other thing is, I don't know, I guess if you leave the yeast out, would you have naan?
No, I
Or
don't think so. I don't
matzah.
know. I mean, you could, matzah's not risen, so you don't need it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but I'm wondering about that. Like, if you don't put yeast in with all these ingredients, do you just have a mess and it never turns into anything?
I don't know.
Or do you just have flatbread? Or no, I don't, hard to tell. Any bread experts out there? But yes, we're eating well, we're eating deliciously healthily, and we have now, oh my, a bread maker.
I'm
So,
very hungry.
Very excited about this. And we've made a bread. Here's the thing, we've got to finish this up now. I'm jonesing to make like a white bread, but we've got to finish this up first. So we're gonna have some.
For lunch, I'm gonna have a sandwich.
Yeah.
Do you want me to cut you some bread?
I might make a sandwich of like the chicken I have left over on.
Yeah,
Have some of this on the bread.
that would be good.
Ooh, hungry me too now.
I hear my stomach is grumbling,
I'm
but I also
grumbling.
did the treadmill. That was a kick butt.
So let's. But we're not quite done with the festivities of the show because we still have. And hon, here's something that will help you lose your appetite. Because we have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. This is because, as we've been mentioning, Joyce and I lived in Colorado for a bunch of years. And I got it into my head while we were living in Colorado to write a poem about as many places in the state as I possibly could. Because there's about 400 to 500 cities, towns, burgs, designated post office areas named in Colorado. So even if you live there like for 40 years, there's places you probably haven't even heard of. And that's with every state, actually, of the union, I'm sure. So I got into my head, like, don't just do the easy ones. Don't just do the obvious ones that are easy to rhyme with names like hills or falls or vale. You know, even Greeley is pretty easy. Try and do as many as you can. And I've been doing them. I've got about 250 of them as we speak. And I've been doing one a week on the program. And yes, I have a new one this week, a new Colorado Limerick of the Damned. And because they are limericks, they're supposed to be mildly amusing, even raunchy and risque. Mine double down on that and become downright offensive and disgusting, because that's why they're limericks of the damned. Today we go to Norrie, or Norrie, 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 Colorado. I know I had never heard of it until this week, but we have a poem about it, a 5-line limerick for our Colorado Limerick of the Damned.
You're the poetry man. A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick. Rocky Mountain,
Colorado, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we go to Norrie, Colorado. I'll tell you a little bit about it. Here we go. It's a census-designated place in Pitkin County in central Colorado. The actual living population there, 7 people.
Wow.
Salute! Norrie, Colorado. Settled in the 1880s by railroad workers who harvested trees for the rails that they were putting down, and they also used local ponds to get ice for their refrigerator cars in the trains. Now the community is basically lined with summer cabins, because it's Colorado, so it's lovely there. So Norrie, Colorado, that's about all I could find about it. I've written a poem about it, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned for Norrie. Ahem, ahem. Beware of that hooker from Norrie, whose twat tastes like old calamari. Her price is all right, and she'll fuck you all night. But trust me on this, you'll be sorry. Please send your comments and complaints to davesgoneby@aol.com, davesgoneby@aol.com. I try and read every letter and message I get, both in my email and on the Facebook page. Of course, you can message me there or post under the show. It's the Dave's Gone By Facebook page or davesgoneby@aol.com. radio.dave2.com. You can also check my Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2. Radio Dave and the number 2. And usually I just post about the show. But and we also have Instagram. So I've started doing Instagramming again. Basically, there's a lot of the same stuff. Like, hey, here's what's on next week's show that I posted a couple of days before. Anyway, davesgoneby.com for the archives, davesgoneby@aol.com for the email, Radio Dave 2 for the Twitter. Instagram is Dave's Gone By. There's a Dave's Gone By YouTube page. There's Dave's Gone By archives at archive.org. Audio archives at castbox.fm. Is there anything else? And davelefkowitz.org for my writing. I think that pretty much takes care of all the plugging that I have to do, especially if I want to do some plugging without getting shigella. What else, dear? Is there anything else? It's about 25 to noon, so we're running slightly early.
I'm hungry.
I know I'm hungry too. We can do some German verbs.
Just do a couple of verbs. Let's go shout out.
Let's do some German verbs. This is what we get in the book box at the market where we buy. So they have one of those things
Organic
for
market. You can
Yeah.
say it's mom's.
It's Mom's Organic, not my mother's, but Mom's Organic Market here, where they have the place where you can leave books and take books. It's kind of a lending free library thing. So let's do, from God knows when, some German verbs, courtesy of whatever company made these back in the day, the Viz Ed company. Isn't that cool? Well, VIS, Viz Ed, study aids.
Probably visual education, right? Viz
Yeah.
Ed.
Plus the cards. And look,
Would you like your tea?
I'll have it with lunch, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's not, it's regular, it's not minty though.
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. So they have cards for English, French, German, Spanish, Russian, Latin, Italian, Greek, history, American government, science, mathematics, psychology, business, bridge, and they even have blank cards, which is, I don't know.
Maybe like for study guide.
Yeah, I guess you could write them yourself. These are pricey. Look at this. No, they're not. No, I read this wrong. You can get 300 blank cards for 75 cents.
That's worth it.
These German cards, think German level 1. I'm not sure what level these are. Oh, these are German verbs. The German verb cards back in the day were worth $1.85. We got them for free.
A bargain.
So here are some class 1 verbs. I really should do this with glasses on, but here's a note. No umlaut vowels occur in the principal parts of strong verbs. An infinitive with an umlaut vowel belongs almost certainly to a weak verb. Oh, there are some exceptions, however, including lügen for lie, trügen for cheat, schwören for swear, gebären for give birth. Those are all irregular strong verbs. And if they're irregular, they should check so that I'm hoping I can shigella. So here are some class 1 German verbs. I'm reading it to you from these delightful German verb cards. Schreiben, schreib, geschreib, or is it schreiben? No, it's weird, the I and the E flip. So schreiben, but then
Like
it's
while
schreiben.
is you go it's the second vowel. So it's not wheel, it's while.
While. Yeah, but it's schreiben EI, and then schreib IE, and geschrieben IE, which means to write.
Oh, like a scribard, a scrib,
Yeah. Scrib, yeah.
right? A scrib, like a scribe.
Bleiben or bleiben.
Daddy's making funny sounds.
I got 10 extra pounds of bleiben here. Blieb and geblieben.
It's like remember that nonsensical Def Leppard song? Interglied Gleiben.
I've been Heiben, Hoben,
But
Blieben,
I don't think
Glaben.
it mean anything. I think
Well, no,
they just,
Blieben or it means to remain. Gleiben means to
I think
remain.
they just picked words that sounded.
Those were nonsense words in
They
the song.
were?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Scheinen.
It says daylight savings time is the 12th.
Yes. Yeah, we turn the clock. Not this week.
Next week.
Next week, yeah. That's why it's springing even before spring, which is fine by me. Schien or geschienen is shine or to seem. Beißen or bis or gebissen is to bite. Reiten or rit or geritten is wie or is to ride. It's hard without glasses. And
Glasses?
weichen, wich or gewichen is to give way. And then we have some irregular consonant verbs. Leiden or
Why do they
lit.
always have irregular verbs? It's so difficult to learn a language.
I know, right? Why did they create what God was doing, like punishing us for the Tower of Babel?
Yeah.
And so, all right, fine. You want to make all these different languages, fine. But do you have to make like Spanish verbs and pluperfect and present and past, present and participle? And then this German stuff, irregular consonant verbs, schneiden, beschnitt, and geschnitten, which is to cut. It's not. I'm not getting a lot of funny stuff out of this, but I just like saying things in German. I do like the feel of the language when I say it. Oh, I dropped a page, or I dropped something. I dropped my shitten. Here we go. Let's do one more. The tense sign of weak verbs is the ending ette after d or t. Arbeitete, he worked. Oh, what the hell? Fuck this. Just fuck this all. I'm done, ladies and gentlemen. More German next week.
Oh, my little thing fell off.
Because they are the people who killed my ancestors. Some of them. Not all, thank goodness, because I'm here. Anyway, you're here too. Happy Purim.
You didn't have any of your family killed in the Holocaust?
Not direct, because, distant cousins.
Yeah, but not your direct line.
No, thank God, not my, because we all got out of Russia and Europe and all of their, for sure. But if any Jewish family, if you go wide enough, you've lost people. Hell, I lost someone at the mall last week. I'm still looking for them.
You have never been to a mall. When's the last time you've been to a mall?
I used to go to the Valley Stream Green Acres Mall all the time when I was a
You go
kid.
to an outside mall now.
Yeah, strip malls, and there's still a mall.
I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, you can't win them all. You've been watching the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the Stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz. Write to me, davesgoneby@aol.com. Watch the archives at davesgoneby.com. Have a fine week. We are really only a week away from turning the clocks back. 3 weeks away from actual, 2 weeks away, really. 15, 20, 2.5 weeks away from actual spring, and 2 days away from the fun Jewish holiday of Purim. So it should be, I'm hoping, it's a good time for all of you. So from all of us here in the Daverhood, make it a great, fine week. Have a good one, and make your own bread. Because, I'm well bred. Even when I'm just loafing, to say the yeast. I'm just a crusty old man.
Don't be so wry.
Well, I'm getting a rise out of you. I just wish I made more dough. And gone by. Oh.
Days gone by. Days gone by. Days gone by. Days gone by.
And pluck. Have a good one, folks.